This episode of the Paddy Wagon is brought to you by Mortal Triumph. Mortal Triumph isn't just a clothing brand, it's a lifestyle. Death is the only finish line, and until then, the only thing that matters is how hard you push, how much you sacrifice, and what you leave behind. Be sure to visit mortaltriumph.com and check out the most comfortable shirt I guarantee you will ever wear. Don't forget to use Paddy Wagon 10 at checkout for 10% off your purchase. Mortal Triumph, at the end of the day, the work is the gift. Hey everybody, pull up a seat. I have just topped off my glass. Why don't you grab your favorite beverage and join me? This is the Paddy Wagon. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, welcome back to the Paddy Wagon. Today, we've got someone here it's a topic that, affects a lot of people. It's a topic I've wanted to discuss on this show for a very long time now, pretty much since inception. We're going to try to find some laughs. We're going to try to have an honest conversation, which I know we will. Everything from heroin addiction, homelessness, prison, recovery, and what real, actual change looks like. Today, Matthew Hardy, welcome. I'm sorry, Matthew. I can't even read my own writing. Matthew Handy, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. I'm honored.
I love butchering people's names. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for coming on, dude. Yeah, I love fucking somebody's name up 3 seconds into the intro, and we'll just say I need an eyeglass sponsor. So that one's on me. But thanks for stopping by the Paddy Wagon.
Yeah, man. I use a slate, right? So I have to write their name down, and then I use a slate for the recording.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I apparently need something different than what I'm doing. So, normally the Paddy Wagon, we'll kick back. We'll have a bourbon with somebody, have a whiskey, and you were one of maybe two people that I've decided I do not want to have an alcoholic beverage with. Out of respect for you, who knows? You could have said, "Dude, have whatever you want." But
you
listen.
could've.
Yeah, but if you want to, you've been able to do your thing for a long time. I can certainly take an episode and set that aside and kind of play ball with you there. So, are you joining me with a drink tonight?
Just water.
Just water. That's what I went with.
That old. I saw George Jones's last concert ever, right? And he famously is sober for a long time, and he called it his white lightning.
The white lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something fun, man. I was gonna do I love actual cherry Coke, right, with the grenadine and the Coke and the crushed ice and Fanta. Any pop? Well, I call it pop. I don't know what you call it. Probably no. You're in Texas, so you call everything Coke, right?
I'm from California, so I call everything soda.
Soda. All right, gotcha. I know the Texas people. Everything's Coke. What do they say when they want a Fanta? Is it just give me an orange Coke?
Yeah, you know what? When I moved here, I had a culture relief, right? Because I never interacted with Southern hospitality before. When I got here, I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's so nice.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, and then I got on the freeway, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like driving in TJ here.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's cutting each other off. You got swimmers. Have you ever heard of these?
The swimmers?
Yeah.
No. What's that?
They're doing 120 and they're just like in and out.
Oh, dude. I just call them assholes. I know what you're talking about. I didn't know they were called swimmers. Okay.
Yeah. Here it's like a whole culture, right? It's like they got slabs here, right? And then they got swimmers. They're like in California, we're tuners, right? Like I built cars. I built a 99 Prelude, right? And was on a street team for a garage and shit. Here, it's like it's like a whole different thing here.
So I love the Prelude. How badass was that car?
Dude, to this day, I dream of the day when I'm going to buy another one and fully build it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What are people driving in Texas?
Trucks.
Big trucks, lifted trucks.
That's pretty common, but I mean, everybody's got like a Silverado or I've got a Tacoma. Everybody's driving trucks.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
They are not cheap anymore. at all.
They're not. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you a
I got good
Toyota guy?
deal. I am. I'm 5'5", so I fit.
Oh yeah, it's I don't know if there's a saying about once you go Toyota, you never go back, but I tell you what, you'd be hard pressed to find a better built machine on the road. I mean, you really would.
Yeah. Yeah. The Taliban, right? They famously all drive Toyotas because you can fix it with a wrench and a hammer. Everything, right? Not really these newer ones.
That. There's always been something to that. Like, dude, these people are fucking driving these things through the sand, driving them through the desert, mounting machine guns in the back. You know they're not doing regular oil changes.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And they're always running. They're always in them. So it's like, hey, man, if it's good enough for that shit would probably last anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I think the record right now is like 4 million miles. It's a Volvo.
Really?
Dude, they just run the motor.
Oh, my God. Are you serious? 4 million miles?
4 million miles.
How many times around the earth is that?
Dude, that's a good question.
Wow. That's many, many times.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. So, oh boy, man, we got a lot to talk about here. You are actually, one thing I didn't mention, you're a podcast host as well.
I am.
And your podcast is called My Last Relapse. Now, I do want to ask you a question.
Okay.
I hear it two different ways. Double
You got
entendre. Okay. I'm not wrong in that then, because I hear My Last Relapse and I hear My Last Relapse.
Yep.
Right.
You got
So how'd you come up with the name?
It was a brainstorm. I actually got tricked into doing podcasts, right? I have a team of people that work for me, and they were like, we need exposure. You need exposure. So they started getting me on people's podcasts. And then they were like, we're going to have a meeting about this podcast. Halfway through it, about a half an hour into it, I realized what they were doing. And I was like, wait, you guys want me to start a podcast? Right? They're like, yeah, that's what this whole thing is, like the whole strategy and da-da-da. I was like, okay, I could do this, right? And I had my producer come down and we just brainstormed, like, what is the direction we're going to go? What is the messaging? What is the strategy around delivering this message? Because I can't just come out and say, the treatment industry is a scam, right? Like my first episode. You can't do that. And so I had to build trust and like build an audience and like do the work. And then, so now I'm in the phase of like, okay, today I got 20,000 views, right? And my messaging has gotten very specific and pointed around people who need treatment, need to understand what they are going into, right? Because it's over-promising and under-delivering. In the history of treatment, never in the history of treatment has treatment ever got anybody clean, period, right? And we've been doing this for 60 years. Never has treatment got anybody clean, right? It's the work. There is hope, but it's the work that you do, right? And most people, unfortunately, like there's statistics on this stuff, right? And there's a recidivism rate, and unfortunately, the treatment industry, after it became the treatment industry, right? There was a transition out of the field of recovery into the treatment industry, and 85 outcomes plummeted, right? And this is based on statistics that the Recovery Research Institute has put out. The Recovery Research Institute is funded by the government to do this research, to give the information to SAMHSA, right? It's the Substance Abuse and Mental Health branch and department of the federal government. There's an actual representative that goes and talks to the president from this department and says, this is what's going on, right? And so there's a lot of statistics out there based on these studies that have been done. There's been studies, there's been meta-analysis of these studies, and it's pretty obvious, right? This industry is not designed to make people get clean or help people get clean. There's medical stabilization, and then there's lower levels of care, right? The magic really happens in these lower levels of care, where people are now living in the world. They're getting exposed to things that are triggering. They're living life. They're hitting friction. Maybe they're hitting walls, right? But they're going back into this clinical situation where they're working through it with people who have the same lived experience, and a therapist who has lived experience. Like my clinical director, She's been in recovery for 25 years, right? And so it takes more than just abstinence to establish what recovery is, right? Abstinence never
Right.
kept anybody clean. You know,
Well, it's
meetings.
life is hard. Life is full of roadblocks and sadness
Yeah.
and messed up shit. And when you remove all of those things, like you're saying, and it's just like, hey, now you've been clean for a year, but you've also been in this facility for a year, right?
Yeah.
You've
Well,
got to
actually,
get people back out there, right?
yeah, unfortunately, those year programs, those are unicorns, right? There's a 28-day model that's been standardized by the payers.
Why is that?
Yeah, it's standardized by the payers, right? They have a legal obligation to maximize profits, right? And so there's conflict. There's actual conflict in the product that's being delivered and the promises that are being made, right? I know of people who have mortgaged their house 2 and 3 times so that little Jimmy can go to treatment, and then they get dropped on their head because Jimmy didn't get clean or sober going to treatment, right? Recovery isn't found in treatment. It's found in the work.
Can you get
Right.
clean in 28 days?
So I had this discussion with my brother literally today. I told him, like, look, if you today smoked meth and became addicted to it, okay, and you smoked meth for a month, 28 days wouldn't heal whatever it is that's going on underneath the using, because it's a symptom, right? The addiction is a symptom of an underlying issue, right? The underlying issue needs to be addressed in a real way, and you can't do that in 28 days. Most people are medically stabilized. They're coming out of the fog. They're withdrawing for a good amount of that time, right? Their heads are not on straight. And so you've got these programs out there. I went to a 3-year program, right? I was in residential for 3 years. I needed that, right? The average person that has used, destroyed their lives, destroyed their family's lives, disconnected from society, disconnected from their family, like real alienation.
Right.
They are not using because they're a degenerate. They might do degenerate shit, but they aren't using because of that. They are using as a symptom of the underlying problem. And so when you take that away for 28 days, all you've done is taken away their coping mechanism. And now you can't teach coping mechanisms and instill them in a promising way in 28 days. It's just not possible.
Right. So it's addressing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's mental health. It's all mental
Absolutely.
health, right? And
Absolutely.
so, and that's just when you look at our country and probably the world as a whole, it's just we're not addressing these issues. We're not men, specifically us. We talked about this before the show. We're not addressing our issues. We've been raised to not talk about these issues. It's just there's a big picture, and again, throwing somebody in a room or a facility for however much time, if you're not addressing the issues in that time, then what are you really doing, right? And you're just collecting money at that point, I think.
Yeah. So you bring up mental health. Every person that has addiction has mental health issues, but not everybody who has mental health issues has addiction, right? And so, I mean, there's clinical terminology around it, right? It's substance use disorder primary with a mental health secondary, right? And what happens is this: anybody that gets clean for 3 days, you're clean. You'll never get cleaner, right? The drugs are out of your system. Unless you're talking about like benzos or like some of these really long acting like half-lives.
Okay.
You'll never be more sober than you are on the 3rd day, right? You can be sober for 20 years and you will still never be more sober than you are on that 3rd day, right? It's the quality of the recovery, right? And the quality of the recovery it's multidimensional. There's family dynamics that goes into it. There's mental health. There's a lot of sexual abuse that goes on, and so, yes, it's mental health secondary, but all of the documentation around this, the way that it looks is you're presenting with the SUD primary, and then after a certain amount of time, it switches to mental health.
Okay.
Right? And we are in an epidemic of silent suffering. Have you heard of this?
I feel like I've heard that term. Can you explain it to me?
Sure. So men in general do not talk about their problems.
Yes. Okay.
Where is the outlet, right? What are we taught? Like, what is the average boy taught around talking about your problems, right? And then a big problem that I see is this. There's a historical precedence for this. Thousands of years, probably, dude, 12,000 years of this specifically. And for some reason within this great society, we don't have something like this, right? There is no coming of age ritual anymore. You turn 18 and you're told you can vote. You're told you can go to war. But boys never turn to men. We just kind of evolve into whatever it is that we evolve into. There is no definitive moment. And you can look at like all these great societies back in the day and like these warrior societies and all this stuff where it's like, dude, you got to go out there when you're 13 years old and you have to survive, right? And so a lot of these people that fall into addiction, what I see from my point of view is they are going through a transition where they are testing themselves. They are learning who they are, right? Like, what am I capable of and what can I do? Obviously, it's in a very, very destructive way. But I personally think that if there was like a mentorship emphasis and then like an actual ritual around like turning from boys to men, this would solve a lot of problems.
What would you do? Do you have any ideas? You seem like a guy with ideas.
Yeah. So I was raised Mormon. Okay. The Mormon community has this thing that boys do when they turn 18. They go on a mission for 2 years. They go out there, they learn leadership skills. They learn to survive on their own. They're not allowed to talk to their family, right? So they go out for 2 years and they survive. In addition to surviving, they're preaching the gospel, right? They are doing something where 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a door slammed in your face. So they learn rejection. They learn what it feels like to not be accepted and shake it off. Right? We are so sensitive today, right? Like in the day and age of the internet troll, people are triggered on the smallest, weirdest, most inconsequential shit, right? And it's like they will translate that into their real life.
Yeah.
And they carry it with them.
I've said that to my son. Likes and comments and clicks and views and subscribers, none of that translates to friendship. None of that. They are completely separate. And today's kids and adults too. Listen, we do a podcast, man, right? You may or may not check out your stats. There's some humbling shit when you look at stats, and then there's some cool stuff. So it's like the roller coaster. You see the bad, you see the good, and we react to that stuff. I had my first bad comment on my, the dude was like, "You fucking suck." Now, in fairness, he was a guy I didn't want on the show. But he did. He just like, this dude sucks. You want to fall asleep, listen to this guy's podcast. And I'm like, it was kind of cool, but I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, man. This dude's attacking me. He's attacking me as a human being. He's attacking my product. He's attacking just in general. Yeah. And it's a weird feeling when that happens, man. And then I just said to myself, dude, it's the fucking internet.
Yeah.
It's the internet. That's what it's made for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, it's funny, the bravery that comes with anonymity, right? But the second you got to put your face on it, I'm guilty of it, right? I read it pretty consistently, right?
Oh yeah.
And, dude, I get on these threads and people are just talking shit. So I'm in there. The second I started podcasting, I started really watching what I say, right? Because it's like, dude, this can translate into some crazy shit. And I've had bad comments too.
Yeah.
And what I normally turn it into is like, can I learn something from this? Like, is this going to help me? Right. And I pocket it. And if like somebody said that I talk too much, right? Hey, shut the fuck up. We want to hear your guest story. Right. The whole premise of the show is I have conversations, right? It's like, it isn't a story-based thing because the majority of recovery-based podcasts, when there are stories, all they're doing is telling war stories.
Yeah.
There is no solution in that. Right. So it's like,
it's in the dialogue. Let's go back and forth. You share something with me. I share something with you.
Yeah.
And then people that listen learn from it too.
Yeah. Let's build on the solution. Like, what did you do? Why did you do it? Right. Without going into the, oh yeah, I was in this bathroom and like pulled the water out of the toilet and like, dude, you'll get views all day. All day. Trust me, you'll get views. But if you are an addict or you suffered through like if you're a family member that suffered through addiction with a loved one, You don't need to hear these stories. We all know. We all know. We've been there. We know the feeling. There is no point. Like, dude, there is a dopaminergic effect to hearing these stories. People get high on these stories. And I'm not trying to promote or glorify this in any way. Like, the shit fucks people's lives. It kills people.
Right.
Right? People's loved ones will never see them again. Right? It's insidious. It's invasive. It's something that is with humans. The addiction has probably been with humans forever, right? As long as there has been substances, there has been addiction.
Yeah.
And so this is a part of who we are. Also, human history is intricately woven with substances, right? This isn't just something that happened to us 100 years ago. The crack epidemic, that was something that happened to us, right? The fentanyl epidemic, this is something that happened to us, but addiction is wired into the human DNA.
And it doesn't matter what it is. We can be addicted to anything,
Dude,
anything at all.
Process addictions are some of the biggest, most deceptive things that you can deal with, right? I'm talking about gambling, gaming, video gaming, food, relationships, sex. Dude, like, I tell people all the time, I can turn a candy bar into a problem.
Oh my God, why is that my favorite fucking saying? And let me ask you this. Is it possible for a human being to not have addictive traits? I don't.
Absolutely.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I would never challenge you on that, but it's like, I feel like everybody is addicted to something, even if it's something that's good.
Yeah, so there is a difference between addictive traits and addictive behavior.
Okay.
Right? Everybody can exhibit addictive behavior without having addictive traits, right?
Okay.
Where they might fall into this cycle of addictive behavior, but they can leave it, right? Like, it eventually becomes something of the past.
I would do that with cigarettes. I'd buy like a carton of cigarettes. I'd smoke them. I'd buy a pack, go golf, and do whatever. And then I would just be like, all right, well, I'm done.
Yeah,
And
I think
people that smoked are like, fuck you, man. How did you do that? I'm like, I just stopped. So that's an addictive behavior, not a trait. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a trait is linked to, like, your genes, right? Like, what we're talking about here is the predisposition for addiction, right? And these are generational traits that are passed down genetically through your DNA. And I know people that have no family history of addiction. And, the guy that I talked about earlier, great family, no history of addiction. The thing about addiction is it doesn't give a fuck. It wants everybody. And everybody always says, like, addiction wants to kill you. Addiction is a disease, right? Addiction doesn't want to kill its host because it no longer lives.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't want to kill people. It does, right? But on accident, it wants you alive and miserable for as long as possible because misery loves company and it will spread, right? It's a virus. It's literally a mind virus. And it does not want to kill you. My addiction didn't want to kill me. My best friend, Ryan Mayer, rest in peace now, died from a fentanyl overdose, right? It didn't want to kill him. He made a stupid mistake, right? But addiction is a very cunning, very powerful. You know what I think addiction is? I think addiction is a demon.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think that there's something metaphysical to this because I think that everything exists on a spiritual plane, okay? It either does or it doesn't. It's just the way it is. Like, we are either spiritually connected to something or we just aren't. I personally choose to think that we are.
Okay.
I have some really good evidence for it in my life. Hang on. Sorry.
All good.
I have some evidence in my life around spirituality that I cannot deny anymore. Like, looking back on my life, I could never see it in the present moment. But looking back on my life, I can no longer justifiably say that there is no God. Because there are situations that I should have been killed in. I should be in prison for life. I should be disabled in a vegetable state forever. Like I should not be here. So when I look back on my life, there was obviously like a guiding force getting me to exactly where I'm at today. And there's no denying it for me. And so we either live on a spiritual plane or we don't. And if addiction is what I think it is, I think it's a demon that really takes possession of people. And it takes a lot of work to use the language to exercise it. But what it really all is contingent on is your spiritual fitness, right? In order to deal with this problem, it's multi-layered. There's a lot of mental health. There's relational aspects, which typically translates into family dynamics. There's this book right here that I'm reading. It's Addiction as an Attachment Disorder, right? What we are taught when we are a child dictates what we do with our life in the future, right? And a lot of people don't realize this, but nobody escapes their childhood unscathed. Everybody takes these scars from whatever their experience was, and they either protect them or they grow from them. And you see those very well-adjusted humans probably had a great, maybe not even, right? Like they evolved correctly with their trauma, right? Now, so I was sexually abused as a kid, right? By an uncle that I was left with. I'm the oldest of 10 kids.
Okay.
And so there was a lot of help that was going on within the family. So I was left with this uncle all the time. This uncle was also sexually abused, right? It is a chain of events. This isn't, somebody doesn't just wake up one day and molest kids, right? There is a history. There is something that broke them. And so he was molested. He was actually raped. And then he molested me, right? And this is like a major part of my story because I didn't talk about this till I was 30. I never admitted it to anybody.
How old are you now?
I'm 36.
Okay.
And sorry, I didn't talk about this till I was 32.
Okay.
Okay. So, and my fear was this: a man molested me. Okay. Am I gay?
You must be gay. Yeah, absolutely. Understood. I knew right where you were going with that.
Yeah. And so this is a fear, right? And we are taught this socially. And so, we can go into like inheriting social shame and guilt and then what that does to people, but we'll go down this road for a minute. I was sexually abused. I didn't talk about it until I was 32. I had these fears that either people would assume I was gay or what if I have these tendencies because I was molested by a man. And I buried it. And what I found out through the path that I chose, right? Like it was very intentional. I needed to deal with this. I needed to figure this out because I had 3.5 years sober and I relapsed. And then I was confronted about this because my uncle then went on to molest other members of my family. And this kind of hit the fan at the same time that I relapsed. So my family confronted me like, hey, did this happen? Because all the signs are there and we can kind of put 2 and 2 together. And it was like, yeah, I admitted it. And it was like a relief, like a major relief around. Yeah.
Wow, that felt good.
Dude, so not only was it a relief, I then was in a headspace of, I need to deal with this, right? Because obviously I had 3.5 years sober. Is this what I used over, right? What is going on? What is actually going on? And I had some solid recovery under me, right? Like I was doing pretty good. So I intentionally addressed this issue. And through the 18 months of therapy and going to treatment and getting stabilized, because I relapsed, I started using fentanyl immediately. So I had to go to treatment to get medically stabilized to be in that position to then
Can I
move
ask
forward.
you a question?
Yeah.
Sorry, not to cut you off. When you say you used fentanyl,
yeah,
I'm all. I don't want to say I've been of the opinion or whatever, but I guess I thought that people went to use a drug and fentanyl happened to be in that drug, so people will actually seek out fentanyl.
Yeah, we have evolved into a situation. The drug market on the streets. I'm a heroin addict. Slammed heroin for 17 years. And this was in San Diego, where we have access to Mexico. It's right there. We were crossing that border like it was nobody's business, right? We were bringing drugs across. It was like this whole thing. And I was interacting with people that were manufacturing and like selling weight. And I would ask them, like, why are you putting fentanyl in everything? And they were like, we're putting it in meth because it hooks people. Like, they cannot just stop this now.
Sink that hook into them. Aren't these addictive enough?
See, the thing about meth that's interesting is you go to sleep and you're good. And like I said earlier, you'll never be more sober ever 20 years later after 3 days. You are as sober as you'll ever be. Right? And so a lot of people do this meth thing. It's a back and forth game that they play with meth. There are a lot of people that just stay high, but it's a very uncomfortable. There's nothing euphoric and fun about meth addiction. It's a fucking nightmare, right? There's a lot of mental health stuff that goes on, lack of sleep deprivation, malnutrition, and then you put yourself in a situation where you are hyper aroused for days. I stayed up for 11 days was my record.
11, no sleep.
No sleep. And then slept for 8 hours and stayed up for another like 10 or 11 days.
Doing meth the whole time?
Doing meth and slamming. Yeah, I was slamming meth and slamming heroin. Right. And so,
dude,
it was just a thing, dude. And you know what I would do? This is what I would do. Look at this.
For those people listening, he's staring out of a window. Why is that the most meth thing that meth folks do? Like, it's just, dude, like, what the fuck's going on out there?
My girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, she would go to sleep. 8 hours later, I would literally still be in the same position. And I was just waiting for the cops to come. I knew they were coming. They were coming.
So it's just a straight up fucking paranoia nightmare.
Dude, as soon as it gets dark, the demons come out, dude. It's like, I thought the cops were, every night, the cops were coming, right? The cops are coming. I know they're, and the thing is, it's like, it was paranoia that was deserved because I was committing crimes. I was doing fucked up shit. Like, you know, meth is a punishment drug, right? It's, all of the negative shit that you've ever done in your life, you're just going to spin all that through your head all day. And then at night, you're just going to worry about the cops. I mean, dude, it's like unanimous. All of us just worry about the cops coming.
Oh, my God. My drug story involves, well, I ate mushrooms and played Mario Brothers for 12 fucking straight hours, and I don't think I blinked. And you're like, yeah, dude, I stayed up for 11 days, fucking straight up looking out of the window for 11 days waiting for the cops to come. Yep. And is there, when you say the nighttime, is it this like a straight up, do you fear the night? You're in the day and you're like, oh no, the night's coming and then it's different? Or is it just...
Dude, it's like so unintentional. It's like, I knew what I was doing, but I knew how irrational it was. I knew how crazy it was, but I couldn't get this feeling that the cops were coming to go the fuck away. And the sun would come up and I'd go outside. I had this whole setup outside in this one house where we rented this 2 rooms from this guy, Bob. This dude was an angel. He was crazy as fuck. This dude would sit in his front, like in his front room with the door open, with the screen shut, with a gun in his hand and a bottle of whiskey, just waiting for, and we're in the middle of nowhere, waiting for somebody to jump over that fence. Just waiting.
I'm just waiting to kill somebody. They'll show up one day.
Yeah, it was crazy, but I knew this was irrational, and there was absolutely no grounding to my thoughts, and I just couldn't help myself. I had to go to the window.
Oh my God, dude! You know, and I hate to say this, please don't take this the wrong way. Weirdly, you make it sound fun, and I know that is the worst thing to say. It's like I want to stand by the window and look out there for a long time,
dude. No, it's hell. You're trapped in the hell of your own mind.
Holy shit. Yeah, you've seen, like, I remember this episode of Family Guy where it was like Peter did meth and I remember him going, hey, why doesn't this wall have a hole in it? And he just punched a hole through the wall and then like jumped out of a window.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? And then it's like, well, there's got to be something to that because they didn't just pull that out of their ass.
Yeah. Family Guy is a pretty authoritative thing on like facts. You know, it's like it's
right.
The craziest show, right? But it's like, dude, so factually accurate for a lot of things.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So you were I feel weird when I say addict. I feel like I'm insulting somebody.
No,
If I
it's a
say
badge
you
of
were
honor.
an addict for 17 years, that's not an
20
insult.
plus.
20 plus? Okay.
Yeah, heroin was a 17-year problem, though.
17 years for heroin. Is it a miracle you survived doing heroin for that long?
It's a miracle in that I survived, but it's also not a miracle in that this is exactly what was supposed to happen.
Amen to that, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be right where you're at right now.
I'm supposed to be right here, right now.
What, and I realize, I feel like it's like a little bit of a cart before the horse, but like what happened? When did you realize that you had the ability to help other people? Like, did something click? Was it your own therapy? Did you just wake up one day and go, I'm meant to be here and I'm meant to be here for others?
Yeah. So I do sober coaching, right? I do peer support, and I'm a certified CPFS, right? It's a certified peer and family specialist.
Okay.
And what I tell people is, if you are going to get sober and not help people, just stay using. It's fucking pointless, right? In order for somebody's recovery to have purpose and meaning, you have to help people. That's just the bottom line. Now, for me, I have no formal training, no formal education. I got kicked out of school at 16 for some dumb shit. I got sent to the juvenile court correctional school, which was self-paced, and I graduated high school. I did my junior and senior year in about 2.5 months.
Okay.
And so I'm 16. I'm using drugs in my parents' house. I'm about to turn 17. And they're like, dude, they literally had like a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old. They had little kids in this house, right? They're like, dude, you got to fucking go. Like, this is, you got to go, right? It doesn't make sense to have a kid in the house. And I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to school. I'm not working, nothing. So I think they tried to use this scare tactic, but I found a way to support myself, which is a whole other story. But, and that's really where I decided that this was going to be what I do. And that set the pace for the rest of my life. So I have no formal education. I have no formal training. What can somebody like me in my situation do? Like, honestly.
I
right?
disagree with you. I disagree with that. I think you have all the formal education. I think you got a fucking 6 doctorates in what it takes, because I think that you would sit there and have conversations with people with a wall full of degrees and hear them say something. And I truly believe that you would go, you're so wrong on that, and here's why.
Yeah.
So I think you do have a formal education. Your education just looks different than what we're told education is, right? You got an education from the streets, you got an education with experience, and so on. So listen, if I'm struggling with something, I'd rather talk to you. I think I'm going to relate more to you. I think that I'm going to take your word over someone that's never smoked a cigarette in their life, but they're going to tell me how to deal with things. And, again, I could be way off. That's not to insult those folks, but to say that you don't have a formal education, I would challenge that.
Okay, so I'll roll with it, right? Because the thing was, what can I translate into a career, right? What can I do? This was the only thing that made sense. And then inherently, I already knew that because I'd done 5 years in treatment, right? I did a 3-year program. I'd done a couple like resort style treatments, and then I did long-term state-funded treatment. I did the Salvation Army, and it took all of that to get clean, right? I had to build and plant seeds and like let shit grow and like ruminate and like really, really digest shit and pick up pieces here and pick up pieces there. It took all that, right? And so if it took me 5 years of residential and I have all this experience and I don't know what to do, well, why can't I do this, right? And so what it really was, and this is where My Last Relapse comes from, is My Last Relapse was the most pivotal moment of my life, okay? My shortest relapse historically, no rock bottom, very little consequences. Like, it was like I got found out, I had to go to treatment, whatever. Like, no real consequences. Nothing that translated into a rock bottom, right? But it was the most pivotal moment. And I've done 3 prison terms. I've been homeless for years. I've been arrested probably 40 times. Like I said, lost a marriage, lost a kid, alienation from everything, including family and society. But this relapse was the most pivotal moment of my life. It really turned on something in me that said, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. Right. And so that's where My Last Relapse comes from. And what the messaging is exactly what you picked up on. My last relapse and my last relapse. Right. And so the whole point moving forward is I understand as an owner that I have an obligation to my clients. Okay, what does that actually translate into? What does this mean? Right? I have to look at myself in the mirror and justify to myself, like, my cars, my house, my lifestyle, my money, all this stuff. And I have to look at myself in the mirror and say, am I fulfilling my obligation to my clients? And if I can't answer that in the affirmative, I have now entered into the realm of what everybody else is doing, which is sacrificing lives to make money. Right? Who are they sacrificing? They are sacrificing my people. They're sacrificing me. I couldn't afford treatment. I couldn't afford to participate in these lower levels of care or whatever. And these are the people that need it the most and also, in my opinion, would benefit from it the most. They fucked their life up. They hit that point where they would actually benefit from these lower levels of care, these IOPs, these PHPs, these outpatients, where the magic actually happens, not in these, these 28-day turn and burn person mills, right? And so there was this, it was like a cascading vision around, like, this is really something that I could do, and I could be an industry disruptor and really change effectively how people interact with treatment, right? And one of the bottom line, like, easiest things that people can change is stop over-promising and under-delivering. Yeah. Just under-promise and over-deliver.
Yes, sir.
Right? Just don't say shit. They already want to go to treatment. You don't have to sell them on it, right? Stop telling them, like, empty promises that are going to get their hopes up just to put a head in a bed, right? There's a whole marketing side of treatment that, in my opinion, is fucking evil.
How do you get somebody to, and if I'm wording any of this wrong, you either help somebody get to a point or they get to the point on their own, but where they can go, I'm ready. I'm ready, because that's got to be on them, right? Hey, smoking cigarettes is bad for you. Yeah, fucking no shit. It's written right on the side of the thing. Yeah. Versus I'm going to quit now because I'm ready to quit. So is it a balancing act with that, or, walk me through that?
There is no helping somebody get to that point. If you help them, you will effectively rob them of the full benefit of their suffering. That is massively important.
Can you open a door for them?
You can support them emotionally and you can give them opportunity, right? But if you force anybody into a situation where they have to get clean, all you are doing is making yourself feel better.
Don't laugh at me for this. I'm a huge fan of the show Hoarders. I haven't watched it in a couple of years, but I love it.
Me too.
And you feel sad when you watch that because, listen, it's not a show about people that can't clean up. It's not a show about messy houses. It's if you watch that show and that's what you get from it, go watch it again, because that's not what it's about.
For sure.
It is sad. It is heartbreaking. It is all abuse and childhood traumas and all of these things. But the one thing I picked up on is where you go, I remember saying, oh, just fuck this person. Clean their fucking house or burn it to the ground, but fuck them. Just do it and leave. Mm-hmm. And the therapist are, no. We don't throw their stuff away. We get them to part ways with something, because if you don't get them to part ways with it and you throw something away, you're not helping them.
Yeah.
They need to realize that the stack of fucking porcelain dolls that is filling up 7 rooms of their house serves no practical purpose. They've got to be able to part ways with them and come to terms with whatever reason they had it in the first place.
Yeah.
And so that was very eye-opening for me in that way. But they help them. So it's like you're there, you're supporting people, you're helping them, but they're doing the work.
They have to. But the situation that we end up in today isn't built that way. It's just not. And unfortunately, the sad truth is people are systematically robbed of the benefit of their suffering, and ultimately it sets them up for failure. People ask, do you think he's ready? Right? I cannot honestly tell a parent, yeah, he's ready. But I can give you two indicators, right? Can they give an honest and accurate self-assessment of how fucked up shit is? Most people can't, right? Most people that are in that delusion can't. And have they suffered sufficiently, right? If those two things in conjunction with each other are present and they are in a place where they are choosing to go, they have a pretty good shot of staying clean for a while.
Is there any surefire way to stay clean forever? Or is it just, you don't know, it's
ways.
person to person? What would be the two ways?
There's two ways. You can lock them in a room. Okay. They will stay clean forever. Or you can let them destroy their life and get to that point where they need to change and hope that they don't die. I tell people all the time, I tell parents, every time you let them come in when it's raining, every time you give them $20, you have effectively robbed them of an experience that might have let them come in forever. You are adding to the problem and effectively killing your son.
An enabler. That's an enabling trait, and you want to help them, and you're not helping them at all.
I mean, it's baked into our DNA. We want to protect our kids. It's totally. I have a 2-month-old and a 4-year-old. I don't know if I could take my own medicine. I don't know if I could do that with them, right? But I do know that it's absolutely necessary. But I just don't know in practice if I could do it. Right?
I think I struggle with that as a parent, where it's like sometimes I do things that I know that's wrong.
Yeah.
But it's a very protective thing that I have. I didn't know I had it. Oh, man. I had all the answers before I had kids, and then you have kids, and it's like, wow, this is tough, man. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of tough love. Yeah. But at the same time, it's a lot of failing. I fail as a father and as a human being all the time, but I can admit where it's like I can do that differently next time.
Yeah.
You know
what I tell my clients this. I say, if you can learn, you never lose, right? And fail up, right? Fail upwards. Don't continue because it's very, you know what? Check this out. The average person does 100 things correctly by the time they leave their house. Okay. But we focus on the negative things. We focus on we fuck up. But the average person really does a lot of things correctly.
When you say 100 things, like per day?
Yeah. I do maybe thousands, right? They
like tying your shoes,
absolutely.
Taking a step, like, okay. I got you.
Put your shirt on correctly. You turn the shower off when you get out. Like, dude, they seem inconsequential. But to a person who is coming in off the streets for the first time, these could be monumental changes because you have to build the consistency of doing correct things in order to, if you want self-worth, you have to do worthy acts. If you want a self-esteem, you have to do esteemable acts. And it starts with tying your shoes correctly, turning off the light when you leave the room. When you drop the ice from the ice maker, do you pick it up or do you just leave it?
That's a sore topic in this house that has me emotionally scarred. I don't want to talk about that one. It is fucking mind-boggling. I remember my dad is prick, and he's going to listen to this shit too. We have like a button on the ice cube maker. You can't see it. And me and my wife will sit here and we're like, how the fuck can somebody not figure out the ice maker? Well, the reality of it is you got to get your face in there and look. And like, oh, okay, here's water and that little button that doesn't light up, that's the ice. Yeah. And then one time he kicked an ice cube at me. And he's like, this fucking thing kicks an ice cube and I'm losing my mind. That motherfucker just kicked an ice cube across my floor. Yeah. Then the fucking dog will come over and eat the ice cube. The dog will then take the ice into the other room. And then when it's crushed ice, that shit goes everywhere. But it's really funny. That was your example, is do you pick the ice up off the floor? I pick up every single piece. I will actually scrape it from underneath the fridge when it slides under there too. Other people were like, fuck it, let it go.
That is a high indicator of where you were at mentally. Did you know that?
I'm hoping it's a good thing. Tell me more.
Absolutely. If you are willing to pick the ice up when you drop it from the ice maker, that shows where you are at mentally with your stability, with your commitment to doing the right thing. Like these are core things that represent you. So the person that spills the ice and kicks it under the fridge, that speaks volumes to who they are.
Unbelievable.
Right? Character isn't who you show people. It's what you do when you're alone.
What you do when no one's looking.
Yeah.
I've always like to think I was a good person, but again, I use the term. I try to look in the mirror, man. I look in the mirror a lot, and a lot of the times I'm happy, and other times I'm like, boy, you could do a lot better than you do.
Yeah, those are
it's tough.
Those are great moments, right? When you can look at yourself and say, you failed, pick that shit up and move on, right?
Yeah.
It's like course correct. Life isn't about these. Here's the thing about addiction. A lot of people think it's this monumental moment where you stop using drugs, right? It is an incremental tightening of the daily process, working towards a perfect day that you will never reach, right? And you just tighten it every day. You tighten it 1 degree, a quarter of a degree, a decimal of a degree. And as long as you are better today than you were yesterday, you are moving in a really good direction.
You just said direction, and I was thinking in my head, if you were aligned to the direction you want to go, or you use the term dangle the carrot, you hang the carrot out there. If you have a goal and you're setting yourself to attain that goal every day, whether it's 5 steps, 10 steps, 20 steps, right? If it's weight loss, if it's kicking addiction, it doesn't matter what it is. If you set a goal every day when you wake up and go towards that goal, then that's a win, because there's no such thing as perfection.
Yeah.
And I think we all need to acknowledge that there's no such thing. You can be persistent, but you can't be perfect.
So the 2 key ingredients that I like to impart on people, right? It's motivation is shit. You will never go anywhere with motivation. You might start stuff with it, and that's great, right? But if you put all of your eggs in the motivation basket, you will fail 100% of the time, okay? You have to have discipline, and you have to have dedication. And you can be disciplined until you're dedicated, or dedicated until you are disciplined. But once you have those 2 components of whatever it is that you are doing, you will be successful.
I never thought of that. Motivation is like there's no act.
Yeah.
It's just a word.
Yeah.
Because once you start doing something, then you're doing.
Yeah.
The motivation was in the past. The motivation got me to where I'm going. But when you hear people talk about this motivation and I'm motivated to do it. And then when they don't do it, you're like, well, where the fuck that motivation go? You were motivated.
Yeah.
But you didn't clean your room. You didn't do this. And
what else? You cannot act your way. You cannot think your way out of a situation that you acted your way into. Okay. So even though it might feel great to have all this motivation, it gets you fucking nowhere if you do not take the first step. Right. And so taking the first step is the discipline. Right. And once you take that second step, now you're dedicated. Right. And now you can just continue that path. But I know a lot of people that it's like they're making millions of dollars off motivation. Right. But everybody that goes to these conferences and reads these books, they get motivated and then they just don't do shit. Right. And it's that person's grift around like using this state of emotional, like momentary, like artificial almost, right? It's a momentary mental and emotional artificial thing that happens, and it's fleeting. It's gone in a moment, right? It doesn't mean it's an empty promise.
Is motivating someone, somebody that gets up, a motivational speaker, are they full of shit, or are they doing the right thing if in fact that motivation leads somebody to action? Like, what are your thoughts on a motivational speaker?
Yeah. So there are motivational speakers that I have a lot of respect for, right? As a person, with their message, with what they've done with their life. But there are motivational speakers out there that are 100% grifting. They don't live by their word. They don't do anything, right? But even with motivation, you still have to watch their actions.
Right.
They have no motivation in their daily process. There is no motivation in what you do, right? It is what you do. I work out daily, right? This isn't a motivation. As a matter of fact, there is no motivation. I hate working out, right? But it's something that I do, right? As a person, this is who I am, right? It's the, are you going to take the shortcut, right? When there's a circle, to get to the same place, you can either walk this way or go like this, right? You end up at the same place. Are you going to take that shortcut? Are you going to leave the ice on the ground, right? That has nothing to do with motivation. That is either discipline or dedication, right? So to answer your question, I think that motivation in and of itself, let me say it this way. Everything is a technology. Thoughts, words, your hands, your eyes, your sight, everything is a technology. And the operator or manipulator of the technology is responsible for the outcome of whatever tool they're using. You can build a house with a hammer or you can beat somebody's head in with it, but it's an inanimate object.
Jesus Christ. Why does that make so much sense?
Right? And so I turned this on to addiction, right? And can I abuse? They call it drug abuse. Why do they call it drug abuse when you can't abuse the drug? Right? What I have discovered for myself is that I abused myself. I didn't abuse the heroin. I did it perfectly, actually. I always treated heroin with a lot of respect and love and like honor. Right?
I have noticed that. I have smoked weed.
Yeah.
I have popped a few pills. I have eaten mushrooms, and one time somebody sprinkled some cocaine on a bowl for me. Okay. Now, other than that, I've never knowingly done anything else.
Yeah.
Okay. It seemed like I did because I just completely lost my train of thought. But yeah, I know where I was going with that. I have seen it's like a ritualistic thing. Like I'd be playing poker and then like somebody leaves, they go to the bathroom, they come back, they're sweating, or somebody makes a delivery. And then it's like, you got 3 or 4 guys huddled around a little speck of powder that like completely changed the dynamic of the night. And they're staring at it for a while and they're getting ready. Someone puts a pinky in it, they rub it, and it's like it's good, or we got ripped off. And I've seen it so many times to where it's like, you guys look like fucking idiots from the outside. And then it's like, you want to bump? And I'm like, no, I'm good, man. One, I know I would love it. And 2, I'm good. I'm having just as much fun watching you guys bow down to this just minuscule amount of something where it was just always, it was so fascinating. I find, and I hate to say it, it's such a poor way to word this, especially to you, but I find drug addiction fascinating because of the things that you see that are present in all forms of addiction, whether it's just addiction, drug addiction as a whole. There's the denial aspect. It's the need for it. Then there's how different drugs, you can, there's a crackhead. Oh, that person's on heroin. And you can see and you pick it out. And it's like a fascination I have. And my heart's in it too, where it's like, dude, I feel bad.
Yeah.
But it's just so interesting to see from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that way at all? Does that make any sense?
Dude, this is all I think about all day.
Okay, so it makes sense.
Total sense, right? It's a very ritualistic thing. It becomes religious. And ultimately heroin is a god, right? Like ultimately people will do anything for this thing. They will steal from their mom. They will sell their sister. They will do whatever it takes, right? And it becomes their god. And they treat it with respect and they honor it and they really, really value this coping mechanism.
I have heard that you're addicted to heroin the first time you do it.
Not true.
Okay. I was going to ask you.
It's a scare tactic.
Is that true? Now it's very addicting. I've got to assume it's like, that's a tough, like, what does it take for that thing to get its claws into you?
I know heroin. I know people, successful people that use heroin, right?
Like they just go about their daily lives and they use?
Yeah. There's actually a really famous, at Columbia University, right? There's a really, really famous. His name is Carl. I forgot his name. But he writes books on it, right? One of them is drug use for adults, right? And he casually uses heroin with his wife, or casually uses meth to like have sex with his wife, and he talks about like how addiction in general is you're not predisposed to addiction just because you're human, right? And he writes books about it. He teaches this. He's got a he's got like a fellowship and teaches. He's like a professor at Columbia University. He casually and recreationally, openly, publicly talks about his heroin use. I've known, just through my life, meeting people, selling drugs, doing drugs, ending up in random people's houses and like just meeting weird people or whatever. People that just use heroin on the weekend. Right. It's just like a thing that they choose to do and they can leave it or take it. And it's just a thing.
Wow. Did you hate those people when you struggled?
Nope.
Or were you not aware of it?
No. They gave me free drugs. So it was always a good time.
That was good. Did you enjoy it when you were doing it? Like, or was it, I'm stuck and where the fuck am I at in my life right now?
So a lot of people have this struggle, right? A lot of people are mentally torn between what they should be doing and what they are doing. I made a very intentional choice to be a drug addict. I was going to be good at it and I was going to enjoy it. And I always liken my addiction to an abusive marriage, right? I fell in love with it. I had a long honeymoon phase of my addiction, and then it became abusive, like this hate-love thing that happened. And then I entered the divorce phase where I didn't want it anymore, but I couldn't leave it. I would try to leave it and kept going back to it. It was very tumultuous, and it lasted for a few years. But it's very, very similar to an abusive marriage. A lot of addiction is that way if you jump in head first and really commit yourself to it. But a lot of people are torn, right? And they have this internal guilt and shame, and like a lot of people are projecting onto them, right? But I made a very intentional. I got out of prison. And I overdosed 3 days after I got out of prison, right?
What is the actual definition of overdose? Because when you hear people OD, I was like, oh, they died. And then people were like, no, I've OD'd a whole bunch of times. Like, what is the actual definition?
So that is a really good question. I know that I overdosed because people had to give me CPR for a long time, right? And heroin's interesting. Like, it suppresses the respiratory system. So you stop breathing. So my wife now was my girlfriend at the time. She would overdose all the time. And she would like turn blue. She would stop breathing. And I knew like as long as I keep oxygen in her brain and circulating that she would be okay. She would wake up. Right. But she had overdosed effectively. But I would just breathe for her for like 5 minutes. I would just sit
breathe
there.
Into her lungs or push her chest down or something.
Yeah, I would breathe into her lungs. You don't even have to push her chest down because the circulation is going to go if her lungs are expanding and compressing. So I would just breathe for her, like for minutes, sometimes 10. And then, dude, this happened constantly, so bad to the point I got so pissed off one day. I overdosed on purpose so that she could see what it felt like to deal with it.
Do you realize you do realize how that sounds?
Yes.
Okay.
Totally.
That is the craziest shit I've ever heard. It's like, I'm going to show you. I feel like it's like so you've been sled riding, right? I hear San Diego. I hear Utah. I hear Texas. Have you just like ever gone down a hill, like on an inner tube in the snow?
Oh, dude. So I grew up surfing and skating, and I spent basically 3 months in Colorado last year snowboarding.
Okay.
Snowboarding is my favorite boarding sport.
Okay. So there's that part where you blow air into the inner tube and you finally get to a point where you go, you know what? Fuck this. You do it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's all I can picture.
Yeah.
When you're like, you know what? I'm going to overdose. You keep my shit going for fucking 15 minutes.
Dude,
now
you know what she did?
How it feels.
You know what she did? She hit me with 3 Narcans.
Is it the shot or like the inhaler thing?
The nasal. Yeah, she hit me with 3 of them. And I woke up pissed because it puts you into a precipitated withdrawal. And it's so uncomfortable and so painful for 8 hours. Right? And I was like, dude, I would never I woke up and I was like, I would never do this to you. I would never do this to you. Why did you do this to me?
Oh my God. I didn't need you to do that. I need you to breathe for me.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. It's on that note. You brought up Narcan. For people who don't use, there's, so I'm from Pittsburgh.
Really?
Milan was headquartered in Pittsburgh. the CEO of Mylan a few years back was notorious for increasing the price of EpiPens, like substantially, just absolutely fucking anyone with allergies to the point. It's like, fuck you, you're going to pay for this.
$600, right? That's what it ended up being.
What'd you say? 600?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. That's you know exactly what I'm talking about. But with the Narcan, you'd hear, I don't fucking get it. You let these fucking junkies, all the fucking cops, they give that shit away for free. My kids, I got to pay fucking $600 for a pen. So let me ask you your opinion on that argument being from the other side. Is that a fair argument? Is it, I just wanted to throw it out there and bounce that off you.
So they have the right? And let me give you some terminology. There's harm reduction, right? This is a big thing right now. And ultimately, it's the government that is distributing and paying for it, which ultimately it is mom. It is dad that's paying for it, right? And they have the right to bitch about it. They are paying for us to effectively not give a fuck about our lives. And so from that perspective, absolutely, they can bitch and complain all they want. It's not going to stop anything.
Right.
At the same time, there's multiple dimensions to what we're talking about. It's fucking wrong that the pharmaceutical industry is able to do that to them. And there is, it seems to be a disconnect. Like I was going to say that everybody that listens to this can go to a resource center and pick up packs of Narcan. And I don't know how many people statistically, like out of 100 would interact with or witness or need Narcan, right? But better safe than sorry. I keep Narcan in my truck. I keep it in my office. I keep it everywhere, right? Because there was one time where I was under a bridge and this was like the spot, right? And somebody was overdosing and nobody could find fentanyl. And they ran out to the parking lot and somebody had Narcan in their car. Probably not a user, right? They just, somebody's overdosing over there. Da, da, da. And somebody's like, I got Narcan and gave it to him. Saved that girl's life, right? Absolutely, this shit should not be going on. It's a shit show. And this is government policy, right?
Yeah.
What we're ultimately talking about is politics.
Always. It's always because it's like I go to don't hate the player, hate the game. It's the government is they've got their hands in everything with this shit, and it's like I'm not gonna hate the fact that Narcan is accessible to people and that they're being given it for free. I'm gonna be more irritated with the fucking pharmaceutical companies and the people that can get off on charging $600 for that shit.
Yeah,
but the anger got directed back at the addicts, and the anger got misdirected. We'll say, right?
What face do you put on the pharmaceutical industry?
What face do I put on it? I put money face on everything.
Exactly.
The older I get, it doesn't matter if it's politics, if it's Republicans, if it's Democrats, if it's you name a topic and you can trace it back to money. Every single thing on this fucking planet.
So there's a situation that happened in Florida a few years back. His name was Kenny Chapman, right? And this guy, Florida was like a hot spot, like almost like it isn't in the center, but it was like the center of treatment for a long time because of a lot of policy. It made it very, very easy and very, very lucrative. So this guy, Kenny Chapman, all kinds of treatment centers, and he owned the full continuum. He owned the detox, the residential, the lower levels of care, all the way from PHP to outpatient to extended services. But he also owned the dope house, right? And when somebody was discharging, the whole game was dirty that he was playing. It was like he would promise people, he would go out, find people, hey, I'll give you $6,000 to go to treatment. You have to complete it, and I'll give you $6,000 the day you walk out. And he would meet them the day they're walking out and be like, I will give you $6,000 more if you go to this address, get high for a couple days, and come back. And you complete, I'll give you $6,000 again. And this was like hundreds of people, right? And so take a 10,000-foot view. He replicated what the government does on average, right? Like fentanyl and COVID hit the streets at the same time. You ever wondered about that?
Did it really?
Yeah.
I never gave that a thought.
Within the same year, and it comes from the same place. Right? So it's like, that had to cross an ocean. Okay? Not only did it have to cross an ocean, these people have to intentionally start making volumes of this stuff to put on the streets. The government has no clue what's going on. Somebody doesn't know what's going on. Dude, like shipping manifests, like commerce, we're talking about like maritime stuff, and like there is big money in this. Okay? Yeah, it might go to Mexico and then they process it and really make it there. But now we're crossing a border, right? Like there is so many layers to manufacturing, distribution to the addict's hands into the grave, right? There's so many layers for each step. It's like, who's really involved here?
Yeah.
Right. We look at like historically, we look at things that happened in the past where we now have like factual proof that, like, whether it was rogue or whether it was intentional or whatever, like government components intentionally creating and putting crack cocaine in the streets. So I think we're going to find out 20 years from now that like fentanyl was some kind of program.
Yeah. There's when I hear, and and politics is a good one that I use it as an example, but it can apply to anything. Is when I hear people arguing this side, that side, ICE is good, ICE is bad. It's just arguing and arguing. I sit there and I listen, and I go, "You're on the same team, and you don't realize it because there are puppet masters that are playing this game that you're not playing, and there's a party that you're not invited to." Okay,
For sure.
We are all in this together as a whole, as we'll call us the poor folk, right? Because that's what it is. And whether it's big government, whether it's pharma, whatever it is, there is something going on that we are not privy to, but we sure as hell know how to fight with each other, point fingers, attach to our tribe and go, my tribe's better than your tribe. And at the end of the day, there's just somebody looking down on all of us going, it's fucking working. And it is working flawlessly. And then here we are talking about it going, we're right. And there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing that can be done.
Have you ever heard the name Yuri Bezmenov?
I don't think so, no.
KGB defector, 80s.
Oh, Yuri. Come on, man. I knew KGB was going to be in here somewhere with the name Yuri.
KGB defector. And we protected him. And the whole thing was like, tell us what the plan is. Right? He laid out this Marxist communist plan to deteriorate the family from the inside out and then bleed that deterioration into society. And he said, 25 years from now, we will have destroyed the American way, and we will effectively do it by turning you guys against each other. And he lays out this whole plan. And this was the 80s, right?
And I can research this and find this out?
You can watch his whole... He did multiple interviews about this. And he lays out this whole thing. And if you watch it, you'll be like, this is what the fuck happened.
So I'm going to spell that name. I'm going to write that down. Yuri.
Yeah. So let me look it up really quick. I don't know how to spell it. I always just like get kind of close and it matches it. So let's say Yuri Bezmenov. Okay, here we go. So, former KGB agent Yuri Bezmenov warns America about the socialist subversion. Okay, the 4 stages of ideological subversion, 1984.
And he said, what he gave it? He gave it 25 years?
I believe he said 25 years. It might have been 20 or whatever. And dude, there's an hour and 21 minutes. They got the 13-minute clips. Like, he lays it all out, and you can see there's another one that's an hour. That's a totally different video. There's another one that's 3 hours where he's sitting in a chair. He just lays it out. Says, look, this is what's going to happen, and you guys can't stop it.
So it's funny you say that. My wife and I went on a cruise, and we met this really nice couple. The guy was a captain in the Air Force. He was one of our nuke sites. And that's where he was stationed. And so when I meet people like that, I'm like, hey, man, how much can you tell me without telling me the stuff you can't tell me? So it's like I play that game. And I'm always, again, I'm fascinated by so many different careers and people. I just love talking to people, getting to know them and hearing stories. It's like the highlight of my life is just the more knowledge I can get, the better. And so I'm talking to this guy and I'm like, so tell me something that you can tell me that I'm not supposed to know. And he hits me with, out of the blue, Black Lives Matter isn't what it looks like.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit, okay. Explain. And he goes, so here's the deal. He goes, absolutely, there's stuff going on in this country that's problematic, okay? Mm-hmm. He said, however, the overwhelming majority of shit that you see online with people arguing, it's not people arguing. It's Russians and it's Russian bots.
Yeah.
And it is meant for us to destroy ourselves from the inside because human beings by nature attached to a tribe, and you've really only got two to choose from. It is my side and it is your side, and it is working fucking flawlessly. Yeah. And he listed out a couple other things, and he's like, the war is going on right now inside the United States, and the Americans are too dumb to realize that it's taking hold and it's working. And then you tell me this, and I'm like, yeah, I did hear that. I didn't hear that degree. I didn't hear where it started, but yeah, it is what it is. I think that's some pretty interesting evidence right there.
Yeah, there's this story about these Russian bot farms, and what they did was there was a church across the street from a church, and they created this narrative online that got both churches so riled up. There was a brawl in the middle of the streets between these members and that members.
And it was never anyone from the churches?
Never.
Are we fucking dumb, or are they just that good at it?
No. What it is we become so desensitized. The average person has more in common with me, and you have so much in common, like whatever it is, right? Like, and you could be a Democrat, I could be a Republican, I could be a whatever.
Yeah.
We have so much in common. But commonality doesn't drive engagement, right? It's conflict. It's sharp points. It's like all this thing.
Yeah.
I just interviewed a lady for 5 hours. She had to send her son to a boarding school for device addiction. And dude, it was just so eye-opening, like talking to her and like really, really figuring, like hearing how insidious and invasive this situation is, where, it's like our kids are getting signals from us around these devices. They see me looking at it. I'm always on it. I'm connected to it. And then we tell them, like, you can't have a device till you're 16 or some arbitrary number, whatever.
Right. Whatever we make up.
We are signaling to them what is acceptable behaviorally by what we are doing. So there's that part. But then in addition to that, have you ever seen that meme where it's like 1995 on one side and it's a playground and kids are playing, and then 2025 and the kids are all on their devices?
Right.
We've deteriorated our ability to communicate. All we see is the differences.
Yes.
We are no longer in a situation where black and white feud, right? That does obviously happen, but I also think that a lot of that's psyop stuff. But we are now attacking differences, like core differences in personality and core differences in beliefs. And it's like we have devolved into the situation where nobody gets on. In a day and age where you are allowing a foreign entity into your home to watch you sleep, eat, piss, know what you're watching on TV. In a day and age where you let that happen, we're systematically shutting out our neighbors.
Yeah. Dude, think about when somebody knocks on your fucking door.
Yeah.
1995, somebody knocks. Your ass is excited. Who's coming over? Oh my gosh, dude, let's fucking hang out for a little bit. Yeah. Dude, if somebody knocked on my door right now,
you're like, oh,
what the fuck is going on? I've on my episodes before talked about I have do not disturb, do not trespass, no soliciting, because with a baby and with dogs and the barking and the baby napping, it's like, dude, I don't want solar panels. I don't want political shit at my door. Please respect it. They'll still knock, and I lose my fucking shit. But it is, you're like, who's at the fucking door. You're like trying to sneak through a window. You're moving a blind.
Yeah.
We are just so weird about interacting with our neighbors anymore. And I don't know, does it all tie back to that Yuri thing? It's just, it's really bizarre.
I mean, there's that famous statement by I forget who said it, but they said, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." Right?
Yes.
They want us to, they're deteriorating the middle class. The gap is getting wider and wider. The rich are getting richer. The poor are getting poorer. Like, these are all talking points. Everybody talks about it. And everybody's living through it. But what can the average person do to combat it? Nothing. And so you either get hip to the skip and join the crowd, or you like end up on welfare someday.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, when you really look at like the message that Yuri Bezmenov gave and the situation that we're heading towards, you know who Joe Rogan is, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Joe Rogan talks about, universal income, right? Where we're heading towards a situation where, especially with the automation of everything, everybody's going to have to like be supported by the government, like on a base level. Like the bills and probably the food are just going to have to be paid for. And I think about that, right? It's like, when I tie that to addiction, it's like, what are addicts going to do? Because they're still going to figure out a way. There will still be some commodity that's being traded. There's still going to be some way for them to acquire whatever it is that they're doing. What is that going to look like?
Addicts are the thriftiest, most creative bunch of fuckers.
Yeah. Dude, if you could apply 10% of what it took to get that drug that day to something beneficial, like you'd be a millionaire.
Oh my God. It's so fucking true. Oh man. What so let me ask you the question. You were in prison 3 times. I know you mentioned a bank robbery, which I would love to hear that story. Hopefully there's something humorous in that. But do you mind, like, what are 2 others?
So I didn't go to prison for the bank robbery.
Oh, you didn't go to prison for the bank robbery?
Didn't go to prison for the bank robbery.
So we need to edit this out. Did you get away scot-free?
No. This was actually the turning point for a lot of stuff too. But first prison term was assaults with a deadly weapon. Second prison term, I sold cops drugs multiple times, and then I was part of like this big bullshit that went down in San Diego. I sold them a quarter pound of meth, and then they popped me when they asked me for the pound. And
was that the magic number?
They were just building the case,
just
and
tacking it on.
The day I got arrested, 47 other people got arrested. Like, it was just a big thing that they were doing.
So like a nice big sting they were getting. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
I mean, they found like $1 million in cash. They found a couple dead bodies, a bunch of guns. Like they knew what they were doing.
So they built that case for a while. That wasn't just some random 2 dipshit cops. They knew.
No,
they knew.
Yeah. Actually, when it happened, like when the arrest went down, I parked in this parking spot, and I had just all this drugs right here, right? And I look in my rearview, like something caught my eye, and I look in the rearview mirror, and an F-150 pulls up behind me, like super fast. And then another car pulls behind. It was a Mustang, and something else like blocked that car in. And I was like, what the fuck? And 2 white boys, one of them has Chucks and cut off Dickies and like a bulletproof vest on with an AR in his hand. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm getting robbed. Like, they look like gang members.
It didn't register what was going down.
Yeah. Dude, because they looked like gang members. Okay. So like Chucks, beard, shaved head, tattoos. The guy comes up to my window and he knocks on it with his badge. I was like, oh fuck. Right. It's like, dude, I got a pound of meth, and then I have 100 bags of grams on the seat, like just sitting there. I was like, oh fuck, dude. And he's like knocking on the window with his badge. I was like, God damn it, these motherfuckers got me. Check this out. You know who set me up?
Go on.
The uncle that molested me set me up.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I just thought of the most fucked up thing. I have to say it to you, and I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
He fucked you twice.
He did. He
so
totally
sorry,
did.
Dude. What a motherfucker. Okay, so I think there was a question in the back of my head that I didn't ask. And I was going to say, have you forgiven this man? Because I've
Yeah.
heard that with addiction and as they say, drug abuse and all those things, it's like one of the steps is apologizing to people, owning your mistakes, forgiving people and all of that. I was going to ask if he was one of the people that was forgiven, but now I'm like, you know what? That's
Pretty
too raw,
unforgivable,
man. That's
right
cold, dude.
It was
That's
cold.
Was it because he was trying to get himself off of something?
Yeah.
That's always the fucking case, man.
Yeah. So they had multiple snitches on the case, but he was one of them.
Oh my God.
And the reason why is because I was giving him, I was just giving it to, I was getting the shit for so cheap and I had so much of it. I was like giving him ounces and saying, give all of your friends free drugs and tell them to call me. Like
That's a good business model.
Oh, yeah.
It's a wonderful business model.
Yeah.
How much money does a pound of meth or a quarter pound of meth? Like if I wanted to buy that, like what is the amount of money I'm showing up with?
So at the time I was getting a pound for $800 and I was selling them for $1,800.
Okay.
I should have known because they offered $3,000 for a pound. I should have known. Right. But I was like, I'll be there in an hour.
Is there a money like you can get you? I can put you in jail for longer if a certain dollar figure is exchanged. Does that have anything to do with
they
it?
just incentivize it. Like they know we're fucking idiots and trying to just make money and yeah.
Oh shit! And I love that you're like, I'm getting robbed by this guy with a badge and an AR-15 and a bulletproof vest, and you're like, shit! It took a while to register. Like, no,
Yeah.
that's a cop, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So you go to jail for that.
Yeah. This was the second prison term.
That's the second. First one was assault with a deadly weapon.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a bunch of assault. It was 4 assaults with a deadly weapon.
Was it something somebody deserved? Were you acting out a little bit, or was it?
Yeah,
'cause,
no,
listen, sometimes people do things where it's like, nah, fuck that. I'll go to jail, but I was right.
Yeah. It was a combination of shit. I was young. I was stupid. There was a girl involved. Like just this antagonistic relationship and then like guys, it was just like this whole thing. So this is a good point to make is for a lot of people, a situation like this would be a really, really good point where they turn around, right?
Okay.
They not only is there drugs, there's violence, there's jail, prison, all of these deterring factors, right? Like fucked up relationship, like just money, dumb shit. Like it was most people that have this situation, they're like, okay, I'm fucking no matter what I'm never doing this again, right? And I went to prison and had a fucking blast. I loved it.
You loved prison.
I had so much fun. Dude, it was so not a deterrent. Right. But this is a testament to like the mental space that people get into. It's like some people need this. Right. And some
Were you
people
homeless at the time?
Nope.
Because I always hear like, oh man, if I was homeless, I would just commit a crime. Did we get thrown in jail or go to prison and something? What the fuck did you love about prison? Sounds like everything.
I was young, right? I was young. I was doing drugs, and I got connected to a group of people who had power and money and respect. And I was young and dumb and wanted to get high. And so they would convince me to do things that normal people would never do. And when I did them, I was rewarded with respect and drugs and reputation and all this stuff.
And this is all in prison.
All in prison. Oh, yeah.
Are the guards in on it? Like, how? Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah. I mean, so how do you get a cell phone with the box in? Right? You're not shoving that up your ass.
Well, some people might. You never know.
Dude.
That's a big asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
So you enjoyed prison, and it didn't deter you from like, fuck it, I'll go back.
So it's at the pace, right? First prison term, I had a blast. I get out and overdose 3 days after I get out. And then I see what's going on, right? I'm straddling the fence. I got 1 foot in with my family and I got 1 foot on the streets. And the uncle that molested me did the same thing. In and out of jail, played the game with the family, manipulating, lying, like all this stuff. Keep in mind, nobody knows that he's like molested kids at this point, right? But involved.
Was he
in
a lot
gangs.
older than you?
10 years.
Okay.
10 years, 1 month, and 2 days.
Oh, damn. You got that down.
Yeah. Well, he was born March 17th of 79. I was born April 19th of 89.
Okay. All right.
You know, so I'd watched this go down already. And so wise people, smart people learn from their mistakes. Wise people learn from others. And historically, I was neither. And I had to make the same mistake over and over and over. But this was the only time in my life where I really took stock in what was going on and said, I know what's going on here. And I know what this turns into. And my family are very gracious people, right? Like, but if you fuck them over, you get one shot, basically. And if you fuck them over, there's no chance, right? Like, they know enough to be like, it's done, right? And so there's like family turmoil around my uncle being 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I mean, he's 46 now, about to be 47. And he's still doing the same shit because he was enabled by my grandparents. But I saw this go down and I was like, I'm at a crossroads. I can either play this game with my family and burn every bridge now, or I can cut all ties and go do whatever I need to do, whatever that means. I can go do whatever I need to do. And when I'm ready to come back, I know I'll be able to go back.
As long as you don't fuck them over.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I made this decision and I got my first Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube channel 4 months ago because I would tell people it was because of the government, but the truth was I didn't want my family to find me. And so I just disconnected, and I knew that, you know, social media was a way for people to find people or whatever. So I just completely disconnected. And, you know, there was like a lot of stuff going on, like layers of this, like family stuff or whatever. They didn't want me around anyway. But at the same time, I saw the writing on the wall. And so I cut all ties and didn't talk to a single family member for over 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that tough for you?
No, because I knew, not only did I know that there would come a day where I would be over this and go back to them, I also knew that if I didn't play this all the way through, that I would always wonder, right? And so I tell people this all the time. If I would have done exactly what I was supposed to do, finished high school, gone to college, gone to law school, joined the family law firm, done everything, I would have been 36, imploding, destroying my family, probably destroying a marriage, destroying my kids' lives because there was something in me that needed to do this.
So it's like that get it out of your system type thing. Like this is the demon or whatever it is. This is inside of me. It needs to get out. I need to experience it and I need to live life. This is my path and I'll eventually get to where I'm going, but this is where I need to go first.
Sure. You've heard of the wayward soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of my best friends, so he's got a funny story. Sober, 5 years sober, and he gets caught with an ATM machine in his garage, sober.
He's sober and gets caught with the fucking ATM machine.
Yeah, because the lifestyle is harder to leave than the drugs most of the time.
Are those things like fucking GPS chipped that like you steal it and they just
he found out that like there are ATM machines that are old enough that aren't GPS tracked. They actually raided his house for something totally different, a stolen car, and they found the ATM machine.
Are they hard to get open? They've got to be fucking brutal to get into.
Yeah, I mean, he said it was here's the funny part is he steals this ATM machine, he brings it to his house. He gets like $150 out of it. And then he's like, what do I do with this thing? So it just sat in his garage.
So he already had the money out and it's just sitting in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it was there for, I don't know how long it was there, but it was there. It was just sitting there.
Oh my fucking God. Wow.
Yeah.
So we're clear. He took that while he was sober.
Yeah. And he's in prison right now.
For that or something else?
For that. Yeah.
How long do you go to prison for that
7 years.
God damn. For $150. That's
yeah.
Ooh, that's not a good return on investment, dude.
Now here's the thing though. People don't go to prison for what they get caught for. All right, they're paying the price for whatever else they did. Right? That's the truth of it. yeah, this is the sentence that you got, and this is the conviction that you got, but nobody goes to prison. Nobody goes to prison for what they got caught for. Everybody's going to pay that piper.
Wow. Dude, I was thinking of a question for you, and I'm not going to ask it because it doesn't make sense. I was going to ask you if prison was a sobering experience. I guess the last one was, but the first one, the first one was certainly not.
Yeah, let me get into this. Second prison term was brutal. It was brutal. Went to a higher level, had some experiences, saw some shit, participated in some shit, and very, 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 I mean, I can remember the realization. I remember where I was. I remember what was going on. And I remember thinking to myself, I can end up here for the rest of my life. And that thought, I was like, oh, fuck, dude, prison is not for me. Right? And so I started to become disenchanted with it. And I still had to do what I had to do. I still did what I did. And then I get out and I sold drugs to cops again. And then I did a state local term. So I didn't actually go to prison this time. I served my prison sentence in jail. That was 28 months in a county jail. After that, I was like, I'll never get arrested again. And this actually leads into the bank robbery and my whole plan with the bank robbery, right? So the story goes like this. Thanksgiving of 2020, height of COVID.
All right.
We have run of the streets. Cops don't want to talk to homeless people. I mean, we are like, and the funny thing is, like, COVID affected the world. I don't know a single homeless person that caught COVID.
Why does that not fucking surprise me?
Dude, I'm sure it happened, but I don't know of it. Right?
That's everybody
everybody that I was interacting with and everybody that we were like dealing with, we were like, dude, COVID is not real. Right? And then you hear stories about like the Amish people where it's like they are isolated from society and they got like, of all the Amish people in the entire United States, it was like 5 of them caught COVID.
Dude, they're all out where I'm at, man. I don't know about out west. There are tons of Amish out here, and I heard the same shit. Like, these fuckers aren't getting sick.
Yeah. And I remember this like it was yesterday. It was like, yeah, they don't have TVs. I was like, oh, we don't have TVs either. You know? So it's the height of COVID, and we have run in the streets, and dude, they're arresting me every other week, and they're just releasing me, right? Like, we'll catch you later kind of thing.
Calling you an addict, where you got drugs on you, we're arresting you, here's your fucking fine, get the fuck out there, we'll see you in a week.
We're going to arrest you, book you, and release you, or I found a loophole, right? And I was getting caught for sales, weapons, robberies, like I was getting caught for all kinds of shit, but I found this loophole where if I told the jail that I swallowed drugs, they would have to send me to the hospital. And cops aren't going into the hospital, so they would drop me off and say, we'll catch you later. Right? And so I did this time after time after time.
And you just straight up leave. You just walk.
Yep. Call an Uber.
Genius.
Go back downtown.
Wow.
So I racked up all these charges. Thanksgiving Day of 2020, my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, finds out she's pregnant. And then she tells me the next day, hey, I'm pregnant. And effectively, like, I'm leaving you. Right? It was a process, and this, it was like whatever, but effectively, you're dangerous. I'm pregnant. I don't want to be around you. You're going to get me killed. You're definitely going to get killed, and I can't be around you. And I was like, what? Like, are you serious? Like, all the shit that we've been through, and like, it was like whatever. So I'm hurt. I'm like walking around, like half of me is gone now, right? Like, we had been homeless together for years. We'd gone through like all this shit together. And you're going to leave me like when I need you the most? Like, I got fucking cartel members like want to kill me because I stole a bunch of money from someone, and then I stole money.
You stole money from the cartel?
Dude, it was like this whole thing.
God.
And it wasn't like directly from a cartel member, but it was a cartel member's money. And I stole it from somebody, right? And then drugs, I was like stealing drugs, and I was like jacking dealers, and it was a fucking mess.
No
dude.
wonder your fucking episodes are 5 hours long. You say something every 3 minutes where I'm like, well, hold on, let's go down this avenue for a second.
Yeah.
All right, so you're holy shit. So your girl knocked up. Sorry, I don't know why I would say knocked up. It's such a funny term. She's pregnant and she's going to she's decided she's going to leave you.
Yeah, she made a very good decision to leave me, and now I'm spiraling. I'm lost. I'm like a fucking lost puppy that is angry as fuck and also on a shitload of drugs. Like by this time, I'm smoking PCP pretty regularly. I smoke crack for fun on the weekends, but my daily just get well is heroin, meth, Xanax, and weed. And so not only am I on all these crazy drugs, I'm forgetting everything. I'm on so much Xanax, I can't remember shit. I can't remember stealing half the shit that I stole. I can't remember doing half the shit that I did. People are telling me like, "Hey, dude, this dude's after you." Like like whatever. And I was like, "What? Like why?" And it's like, "Dude, they said you stole like a bunch of money." And I was like, "Oh fuck, dude! Like, when
I
did this
forgot
happen?"
about that one.
Yeah.
My God.
Okay, so I got people after me, right? And now I'm just pissed off. A couple of years previous to this, because of the prison situation, I didn't go in a gang member and I didn't leave a gang member, but I got pointed in a direction and I ended up becoming a gang member. And these people that I was connected to, they were robbing banks and they were robbing armored trucks. And this was a couple years.
Damn.
Yeah, and this was a couple years before this. So I was on the peripheral of, I wasn't actually taking part in the robberies, but I was taking part in some of the other like extracurricular, like auxiliary things that needed to happen.
Some surveillance stuff, checking out routes, like that sort of shit.
Not that kind of shit. It was like, what are we going to do with the money afterwards? And I helped them find a way to clean the money.
Okay.
Right. And so I was on the auxiliary side of these robberies, but I was finally going to go on this robbery. And Megan is like, don't go. Like, I just got a bad feeling. Just stay home. Don't go. And so I didn't go. And two of them ended up getting shot and killed. And one of them is doing life in prison now. And
then this is just your regular old went into a bank, or this was one of the armored trucks.
There's an armored truck. And they got, I don't know where they were getting there. I wasn't privy to all the information, but supposedly there was like a big money transfer that was going across the desert, right? So they were like, oh yeah, we're going to get this truck. We're going to fucking, this whole thing went down, right? Two of them got shot and killed. One of them ends up in prison for life. But in my head, in my genius thinking, I'm like getting all this information and it's like, oh, what do you mean? They have to get, like, they by law, if you ask for money at a bank, they have to give it to you. Oh, you're talking like what? Security guards aren't allowed to shoot you? It's like, oh, and then COVID, you can't go into a bank without a mask. It's like the stars align.
It's meant to be.
Yeah. The stars align and it's like, well, I'm going to rob this bank at Megan so that she knows like how fucked up she got me. Right. And, so I start doing like the little surveillance and like I'm planning my hit and like get this like plan down. And sure enough, 3 days after, no, the day after Christmas of 2020, I go into a bank, I rob it. I come out with like less than 10 grand. It was like $8,600. They taught me like, you got to ask them for the fill drawer. They're going to try to give you just little bills or whatever. All they have to do is turn around.
What's a fill drawer?
So when you go into a bank, there's tellers with a cash drawer.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you look behind them, there's a metal cart behind them, like all the time. That's a fill drawer. There's thousands and thousands of dollars. There's big denominations and like they keep it stacked behind them. So it's not in that drawer. So if you know, though, to ask for the fill drawer, they have to give it to you. Right. And you just tell them like no dye packs, no money. I told them that I had a bomb. And if they called the cops, I would kill everybody. So yeah, I need the fill drawer. And I was in and out in literally probably 30 seconds. Right. And plan worked out, like went so smoothly, dude. I like planned it perfectly, get away. But because first of all, it's FDA, the FDIC insures all the money. This is why it's illegal for them not to give you the money. But then in addition to that, I told them that I had a bomb. So the FBI was on the case. And I thought I was being so smart. Like I didn't take my mask off till I was like miles and miles away. Well, I took I timed it so that I could rob the bank, run across the street, go down the stairs and jump on the trolley and be miles and miles away in 10 minutes, right? I could be 6 miles away in less than 10 minutes. And that's what I did. I kept my mask on. I got off the trolley, kept my mask on, and I didn't take my mask off until I was like almost under the bridge. Well, they literally followed me on cameras. They went to every business.
I was just going to say.
Yeah. They went to every business and got the cameras, and they got me taking my mask off. So they had a picture of my face. They didn't know who I was, but they had a picture of my face. So I robbed this bank, and this is my genius idea. I'm never going to prison again, right? And so I'm like, that was so easy. I'm going to go to my connect was once a month. She would bring a huge shipment of heroin and weed to Oklahoma from San Diego. And so I go to her house, and I'm like, this was on the 27th, right? And we make this whole plan. She can get documents, so she can get me like a fake ID, a fake passport, a fake birth certificate, and I was going to get this new identity, and I was going to go over there for a month, let shit cool down, and then I was going to come back, move to Mexico, and then just cross the border to rob banks and go back. And my whole thing was I should have been born in like the 1820s because I would have had a bank robber gang, and people would be talking about me instead of Jesse James, right?
Robbing fucking stagecoaches.
Yeah. And so this was my genius plan, and it made so much sense at the time. Like, because I wasn't going to go back to prison. I was going to start robbing banks. And when the cops finally caught up to me, I was just going to shoot it out with the cops. And that would have been the end of the story, right? That was my big plan.
That was how it was going to go down. Now, let me ask you this. Were you actually able to get the documents that she said she could get, or was this just all made up in your head?
Okay, no, she could legitimately do it, but here's what happened. We're supposed to leave on the 28th, right? So I'm like, hey, you're bringing work to Oklahoma, right? I want like high quality weed to smoke for the month that I'm out there. So bring me to a weed shop so that I could buy a pound. So we get in the car, we're about to go. She turns left, and we're supposed to turn right. And I tell her, hey, you turned the wrong way. And she flips an illegal U-turn, and a cop is right behind us. So they pull us over, right? And so now I've got this whole game that I'm going to play with them. Right? I'm going to give them a false ID, a false name. That's worked I don't know how many times. But this is the guy that pulls us over. He's super cop, right? He tucks his pants in his boots, and he wears the vest on the outside, and he's got like all the accoutrements, and like got the fucking jarhead cut, and This guy was not fucking around. And so I go through, dude, I give this dude hell for like 2 hours, literally like couldn't figure out my name. For some reason, there's this thing where they cannot identify you with your social security number. So I would give them my real social security number so that it would come up as valid. But I would give them this name and this birthplace and like all this stuff that was fake. But it had worked so many times, right? But Super Cop was not having it. I was going to jail. I had fentanyl pills on me and heroin, and he was like, "Oh no, this ain't going down." So a couple hours go by, and I'm like tired of the game. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just tell the jail that I swallowed drugs, and he'll just leave me at the hospital. So, I'm telling him the name. He's going back to the car and running it, and like, he's going back and forth. I know that's not your real name. Don't make me get a fingerprint out here, and all this bullshit for hours. And by the time it's done, and he's figured out who I am, he's looking through like all my arrests, right? And like, he's pissed. And we're driving 15 minutes to the jail now, and he goes, "Oh, and if you think this whole little you swallowed drugs things is gonna work, you got shit fucked up, dude. You're going to jail today." And I was like, okay, all right, whatever. Yeah, okay. So I get to there. You got to do a medical screening before you ever get booked in. And so I get to the medical screening, and the first thing that I tell them is I swallowed a bunch of fentanyl. And they're like, "You got to take him to the hospital," right? And so he's like, takes me to the hospital. They x-ray me. They can't find anything. So they can't actually sign the document that says that I'm cleared to go into the jail, right? So we get there. He tells the nurse, like, he plays this game. He didn't really swallow drugs, all this stuff. And the nurse is like, "Take him back to the hospital. They have to sign this document for us to take him in." So this cop is fucking pissed. So he takes me to the hospital. He sends me in. The other cop, like, there's two of them. The other cop like takes me in, and I get back in the car, and he goes, "Look, I cleared this with my watch commander. I don't care how long this takes. I'm going to book you and you're not getting out of it this time. My head, the only reason why I'm like so adamant about not going to jail is because I just robbed this bank. And I'm like, if I get booked and they somehow catch me, like I'm never getting out, right? Because my whole thing was I'm never going to jail again, never going to prison again.
Right.
And so I do it one more time. And now it's been like 8-9 hours of you just fucking with this cop. And I'm like, dude, fuck. Like, okay. The charges that he's got me on is like possession. Like I could just bail out. Right. So I let him book me. And by the time I get to my cell, dude, I'm so fucking tired. Like I pass out and I wake up like 2 days later. Right. It's like,
wow.
Yeah. I wake up 2 days later. Who knows how long I'd been up at that. It was probably like 3 or 4 days that I've been up. Now I'm coming off of heroin and fentanyl and meth and PCP and the Xanax and the weed. And like, I crash for 2 days and I wake up and I'm like, oh, fuck. And it's during COVID. So there is no daytime, no day room, no nothing. They kind of systematically let you out one cell at a time to shower. And then that's it. You can make a call if you can. First call that I make, call my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. I'm like, dude, you got to bail me out. She's like, fuck you, and hung up. Yeah.
I told you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So 3 days later, the feds come and book me. The cop who I gave that like just harassment to and just hard time, he was looking through all the APBs, saw my face, and called the feds and said, hey, I got your guy. And the reason why I know all this is because on the FBI website, you can look, they document all this stuff and it's all public knowledge. Like you can look at all of the minutes of what happened. And so that's how I found all this out eventually. Like I can search my name on their database and it comes up with this case.
And that's still like all out there and shit.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's there forever now. Right. So the cop called the feds and said, hey, I think I got your guy. So they came and they did the whole, do you recognize this guy? How about this guy? How about this guy? I was like, nope. And they were like, oh, really? We're going to play this game? They were like, we got your fingerprints. We got all, I wore gloves and stuff. And I was like, okay, I've played this game before. And then they were like, we could tie you up into the feds for this, right? And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like 15-year sentence in the feds means 14 years, 3 months. And 15-year sentence right now in state means like 4 years. Right? I was like, all right, I did it. They're like, yeah, we know. Like,
we saw you on video, dickhead.
Yeah, they're like, you got booked with like $5,000. Like, yeah, like where the fuck do you think you got that? Like, you fucking homeless piece of shit. Like, come on. They were like, look, the money isn't what we're worried about. Like, you didn't take like $100,000. You took less than $10,000. Like, there's levels to bank robberies. What we're really worried about is the bomb. I was like, oh, dude, I told them that I had a bomb in my backpack. I didn't have a backpack on. Right? They were like, oh, okay. So you just threatened them. I was like, yeah. Like, okay, well, you're also getting booked with criminal threats. I was like,
I was going to say, there's got to be a charge there.
Yeah.
Terroristic threats or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
so this is what happened. I knew somebody that I met in prison, and he effectively escaped the consequences of 2 gang-related murders because he got sent to this program, right? And he always told me, if your back's really, don't play this card unless your back's really up against the wall. But if your back's ever really up against the wall and you're really facing it, write this program and you can get out of whatever it is that you did. So this is what I did, right? There's due process, right? And the wheels
Right.
of justice sometimes turn really slow, but they do turn. And so it took a month for me to get an offer. The offer was 33 years. They're like, the offer's 33 years, and if you want a better deal, go to trial. And it stayed like that, right? And so my mind starts turning. I like I said, you'll never be more sober than you are at day 3. Right. And so now I'm like, oh shit, like I'm in some shit now. Like I've really fucked shit up this time. And so I start planning and I start thinking, and I really needed that. It was COVID. I was locked in a cell by myself for 23 hours and 45 minutes a day for months.
Oh, you get 15 minutes out. That's it.
Yeah.
Shower and you're back in.
So, and then during COVID, what they had to do was after they let somebody out, they would have to let a trustee come in and literally wipe the entire place down with bleach and then let the next person out. So it was like 45 minutes of this person walking around with a rag and bleach, wiping everything down. And then they let the next person out for 15 minutes. And then the guy would come back in and wipe shit down for, dude, it was crazy. And there was like 26 cells in the pod. And so they just did it every hour. And it didn't matter if your time was at 3 a.m. or midnight or noon. Like if you unlocked it and you're asleep, you missed it. Right. And so I had all this time to really process and think and like really, really get into what was going on. And I remembered what he said. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to write this program and I'm going to just hope for the best. And so my public defender changed. This guy was trying to convince me to take this deal. Like, dude, this is a great deal. Look at your charges. You've got 17 felonies that they're hitting you with, and they already dropped 12. Like, all this shit's going on. And I'm like, okay. Just by circumstance, I got a new public defender. And the first time I meet her, she goes, look, I have a really good relationship with the prosecutor on this case. Give me something realistic and I'll try to take it to him. So I was like, look, hang 10 years, give me 2 strikes, hang a strike, and send me this program for 2 years. And the 3-strike law, it's like they were trying to give me these 3 strikes because they were all separate and they could have struck me out, right? Because they were all separate and different, serious and violent felonies. So they could have struck me out. And so I said, give me these 2 strikes, I'll take that. And then you can hang this other strike because if I fuck this up, you can give me that other strike. I'll get that 10 off the top, but you can also try to turn this into a 25 to life case. And so it's like put everything on the line and really, really let them know, like, I'm either going to change or I'm going to go to prison for the rest of my life. And so they accepted it. But the only difference that they wanted was 3 years in the program, 10 years, 2 strikes, 1 suspended. And so they accepted it, right?
So,
and
10 years, you did 10 years for that?
No, they hung 10 years.
So if you didn't complete the program.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I would have got the 10 off the top, but then they would have hit me with my 3rd strike and they could have tried me for 3 strikes, right? And given me 25
and that's 25 to life. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there was a lot hanging on it, right? And they're like, okay, yeah. So the judge at sentencing, he goes, Mr. Handy, I've been doing this for a long time and I've sent many people to this program and I don't know many that have finished. So good luck, right? And he's like, you are either going to change your life or I'm going to lock you up for the rest of it. Bottom line. So good luck. I'm like, okay, like challenge accepted, right? But by this time, like the ball was already in motion. The changes, like the fundamental changes, like based on the circumstances and the where I ended up, right? The full benefit of my suffering and playing the tape all the way through, like really running my addiction to its logical end. Death or prison for the rest of my life. Like this makes sense, you know? And so, I successfully complete the program, which was fucking hell, dude. That's a whole, I actually have a podcast episode where somebody went to a very similar place.
Okay.
The guy left the program that I went to and basically ripped the whole playbook and started his own place. And so all the same rules, all the same terminology, whatever. So we have like a 2-hour conversation about that place, but, that was hell. And by the time I got out, I had 2 years, 8, and I was there for so long that I had to go to court for some reason. And the judge was like, you've been there for 2 years, 8 months, and you're graduating in a week. I was like, yeah. She was like, if you graduate successfully, your obligations are fulfilled. And so they let me go 4 months early. Right. But so now I fulfilled my obligations to the courts, but now I got 3 years of probation. No, 2.5 years of probation. And so I got this tail over me and I like got a little bit of oversight still. The second I get off, so I get an interstate compact and I moved to Texas.
Okay.
And because it's an interstate compact, all they're doing is supervising me, but I'm still on probation in California. And so I didn't get tested, right? They just weren't, I would go check in. Hey, how is everything? Great. Okay. See ya. And I relapsed. Right. And that is where I'd already told the story of the relapse or whatever, but that's where the stories combined.
I can't figure you out. There's something about you. I'm going to say this. I hear all the bad things that you did. I hear the gang stuff. I hear this, but I don't see a bad person.
Yeah.
I don't see the person that, no, you didn't say what kind of weapon, so I can go knife, gun. I don't see this guy in you. You seem like a genuinely kind human being. As a matter of fact, fuck that. I'm going to take that sentence back. I believe that you are a very kind and good person.
Yeah.
That you did some dumb things. I don't see any of this bad. I'm a really good judge of people. So would you look back and say you were a bad person, or was a good person inside of you that just made some fucking stupid choices?
I think everybody is capable of recovery, right? And to be in like a meaningful recovery, you have to help other people. And so if I fundamentally believe that everybody is capable of recovery, I have to believe that every addict, no matter what they've done, if they've killed people, robbed people, shot people, whatever, they are a good person somewhere in there. What I think ends up there are bad people, right? There, no doubt about it. There are bad people. But like I said earlier, drugs become God, right? And just like a devoutly religious person would die for their God, so would the heroin addict, so would the meth addict, so would the gang member, right? Like, you end up in the situations that you end up in based on the choices that you make, right? And their consequences. Consequences inherently are neutral. They could be good, they could be bad, right? Most people talk about bad consequences, but I experience good consequences today. But I do think that at everybody's core, that I'm not a Christian and I'm not a 12-step person, but I do think that there is a piece of God in everybody. And so where God can be, I really believe that, like, there are evil people, right? But I think the majority of us really have that spark inside of us.
I believe that. Did you ever apologize to any of these people that you've wronged? I mean, you've got a person at a bank that you scared the fucking shit out of them. You've got people you've lied to. You've got people you hurt. Was part of your healing and part of your getting better ever extending apologies? If not, do you feel any weight? I mean, just kind of walk me through that if you don't mind.
Yeah. There are people that I've hurt and there are people that I've done really wrong. And to those people, I would never show like, I've done some fucked up shit, right? And I know if I was on the other side of it, I would tell myself I never want to see this guy again. So out of respect for that, I live my life in a way that if they ever see me, like on the podcast, if they ever hear, they will fundamentally know that, like, this person has changed. And then for the people that, I didn't do that fucked up shit or whatever, and it's like I lied to or cheated or whatever. Have you ever seen My Name is Earl?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's what it would turn into, right? It's like, dude, I don't have enough life to apologize to all the people that I've wronged. Yeah. And so I live my life in a way that reflects my apology.
That's fair. Helping other people. What is I feel like I know the answer to this one, but I think I was going to ask you what a good life feels like. You've lived a hell of a life. You've seen the bad, the good, everything in between, and I feel like the answer is probably, I think, helping others is what brings you joy. But what does good look like to you now?
Yeah, the measure of a man is in his actions, right? And I believe in my heart that my ritualistic coming of age took 17 to 20 years. But when I came out of it a man, right? And fundamentally what I believe is this. If you are a man and you make decisions fully aware of the consequences, nobody should be able to tell you what you can or can't do. Okay.
Fair point.
In addition to that, if you're making decisions ignorantly, you're no longer acting in a man's capacity. But as a man, I put childish things behind me, right? And so the way that I live a good life today is I live a life of respect. I live a life of honesty. And there is a certain measure of grace that I offer to everybody, right? I know that most people are living in a bubble. They are so self-involved and just unaware of other people's problems, struggles, cares, worries, beliefs, all that, right? And so when people step on other people's toes, most of the time it's unintentional, unless it's online. And so the way that I approach my life today is I know what it's like to be a bad person. And now I'm discovering what it's like to be a good person. And as I become a better person, the thing that I really try to exemplify is if you're in that position to do something wrong, it is your problem. And so I will, it's like the opinions of others is their problem. Their opinion of me is not my problem. It's their problem.
Right.
Right. And so there's a lot of like evolution into what good means. But what it ultimately means to me is like, I'm a father, I'm a friend. And for the first time in my life, like I feel like I'm a man. And so whatever that means to other people, I don't know, and I can't describe the feeling other than to say that like when I wake up in the morning, I feel good about what I'm going to do today.
Excellent. Excellent. Do you miss anything about, because, the older I get, the more you settle into life. Like I've enjoyed life's journey. I've enjoyed looking back. Now, I don't have half the stories you have, but I've got some good ones. And I look back and I enjoy all those, the stupid things I've done, the good things I've done. I've enjoyed what is starting to look like a completed picture. And I know it's not completed, but like you start to see the outline, and I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with kind of the path and how I've gotten here. But when you look back, do you miss any of that shit? Because it's like you had to have some fun doing some bad or being addicted. Like it's because the fact is when people hand you cocaine, they're like, this is fucking amazing. Like you're gonna have a good night tonight. Yeah. So knowing what you know now, do you ever look back and go, you know what, that was a fucking awesome night?
Yeah. So crossing the line out of use to dependency negates all the fun. There's no fun in the substances, but the lifestyle, like I said, it becomes more addicting than drugs. And people ask me all the time, like, do you regret it? Like, do you regret all that time, or do you regret like things that you've done? And it's like, there were times in my life where I lived in regret, but from where I stand today, I don't regret anything. Every single thing that I did, there was a lesson. Every time I fucked up, there was a piece. Maybe I didn't learn it then, but there was something that I took from it, right? And so if I had to do it all over again, I would do it exactly the same so that I could end up sitting in this chair today.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I miss, and my wife and I talk about this all the time, the only thing that we miss is being homeless.
That's can I take a guess why I think you miss it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So two-part. One, the fucking streets are interesting. I'm going to just throw the streets are interesting out there. But maybe not carefree, but the lack of worry, the lack of the fucking stresses that bog so many of us down, where I would think like, you know what? I don't have to worry about any of that shit right now. I don't have to worry about paying a fucking mortgage. Am I close?
You hit it on the head. Right?
Yes.
People try to capture the spirit of freedom by going on these Sierra treks and these like huge, but guess what? They got their bills sitting right back at their house waiting for them. They got their responsibilities, and they got the mortgage and the car payment and the job and all that shit. And if we weren't addicted and homeless, dude, it would be the most, there's pure freedom.
I imagine it's nice So let me ask you this. Where did you live when you were homeless?
The world was our oyster.
So you were all over.
Yeah. So San Diego's perfect weather year round.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. So we had our favorite bridge, and we had these spots, and like people would make these fucking intricate, like they would run electricity to these just tent cities, and like, so, you know, it was an adventure like all the time. Like, okay, we're going to go over here, and we're going to stay here for like 2 weeks, and we're going to see whatever they're doing and whatever hustle they got going on. We're going to participate in that. And it's like, okay, well, now we're going to go over here. But we always ended up going back to the same spots, like eventually, you know?
Okay.
And, but downtown San Diego, there's a community within the homeless community, right? Like, people talk about the opposite of addiction is connection. Well, I don't believe it, because I had meaningful connection in addiction as well, right? It's the quality. If you rephrase it, maybe I would agree with you. The quality of these connections, right, could be the opposite of addiction, maybe. But I had meaningful connections in addiction, and like real relationships and real love and care for people. And we would watch each other's backs, and we really looked out for each other. And, you know, there's like the drug addict with the heart of gold. Everybody talks about this, right? It's like you never like to see another person sick. You never want to see people struggling. And everybody like really had this like community feel to it. One thing that I tell people all the time, like, why did you do it for so long? It's because I found consistency in the substances that I never found in humans to this day, right? You can't depend on a person.
You cannot.
But you know what you're going to get out of the drugs, right? And so there's a level of consistency that I found in the substances that created a constant line in my life. If it wasn't for the drugs, I would have probably killed myself a long time ago, or I would have been killed a long time ago because of just dumb shit that I do. And so there is a level of comfort and safety within the substances.
I wish that didn't make sense. It hurts my heart that it makes sense. And so I'm a recruiter for a living, and so I any number of professional jobs with the company that I work for, IT, finance, everything. And somebody will say, like, what's the best part of your job? I'm like, the best part of my job is I get to talk to people all day long. Yeah. I get to talk to people. I get to see them go after their goals. I get to help them if maybe they've got a bad resume. I get to help them with interview tips. I get them to look inside of themselves and try to be the best version of them for whatever career they're going after, whatever job they're going to interview for. It just help them. I love that part of the process. They're like, oh yeah, that's great, man. What's the worst part of your job? I'm like, oh, that's easy. I fucking hate people. Yeah. It's like, I fucking don't want to deal with them. They're pieces of shit. They don't show up for their interviews. So it's like this weird, it's the same thing. I love the people and I hate the people at the same time. I wouldn't change any of it because it leads to some fun stories and so on. But yeah, man, you cannot rely on people, even your best friends and the people that love you the most. I mean, I let people down all day. I don't try to. It just happens. And then I think the good outweighs the bad. But people, it's we're unpredictable. Where I think, like you said, if I buy this drug or I put this into my vein or into my nose, I know what I'm getting.
Yeah.
I know what I'm getting. Maybe it may not be as potent, but I know the feeling that I'm going to get.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You are seeking, for me, what it turned into was, I was seeking a consistency that gave me comfort and an escape from, it wasn't an escape from reality, but it was an escape from the feelings of reality. Right. Because I was still present. Like once you do this for long enough, like you're not like off in space. Well, fucking I was sometimes, but but the consistent string was the heroin, right? And that really grounded a lot of chaotic situations in my life.
Yeah. What do you like most about podcasting? Do you feel the connection with other people? Like what is it that you enjoy most about your show?
Yeah, what I didn't know was going to happen was I was going to have amazing conversations with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I like the most. I love having you on, man, because like I said, it's, I've seen people suffer, and me, I'm a helper, man. I love helping my kids overcome little things that when we look back at now doesn't mean shit. Learning how to tie your shoe, learning how to cut a steak, learning how to cut the grass, just all these little things that we just take for granted. And then talking with people and learning about their lives and helping people. And the one nut I've never been able to crack is that of a person that is addicted telling one of my dear friends that I love you and you've got children and you're hurting your family, and none of it sinking in.
Yeah.
None of it making a fucking difference. And you've offered insight into what that's like. And it's like, listen, Mike, it's not a personal thing.
Yeah.
It's not a choice, dude. This is, they're not ready or whatever it is. It's just like, whether the drugs got you or the drug is the mask of what the underlying issue is, whatever it is, there's nothing that I can say that can ever help that person. They've got to help themselves.
Yeah.
When somebody would tell you that they love you or I care about you or I want you to be better, when you were in that state, did you believe them? Did you know that it was the truth?
Yeah, nobody told me that.
Would you have believed it?
No.
No.
Because here's the reality of it. Addiction is, whether it's a demon or not, like the effect of it is that you will now project all of what is going on in your mind on everybody else, right? And so it's like, this person is only telling me this to make themselves feel better, right? And like, and there's proof of this, right? Like you send your friend to treatment, right?
Right.
And this is what's going to happen. All the people that loved him, maybe not you, but like probably the wife, the family, for sure this is going to happen. He's going to go to treatment. After 28 days, he's going to come out and he's healed, right? Like he's healed.
Yeah.
And you're going to send a healing person back into a sick situation. And all of these people who historically just wanted your friend to get better, now they're just mad at him, right? Because all the fucked up shit that he's done, right? Or like the whatever, right? Like, and so the message that you give back to that person is, we didn't care if you got better or not. We just wanted to be mad at you, right? And this happens 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. I find anger. I find that I'm angry because I don't get it. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I find all these great things that this person has and that I see them and he doesn't bothers me. Because you do. You can see, like, it's like I've accepted his death in a way, even though he's still with us. I've just, you just kind of wait for that call. And in your heart, you're like, dude, I hope you get better. And I do mean that. And I believe that you can. But he's got to believe that he can. So it's just this, you just see this cycle of, 28 days, and it's 28 days. And I've always said to myself, that ain't going to fucking make a difference. I'll be right back in that motherfucker. And it's just the cycle just continues and that it doesn't break. And I think that would need to break because he just goes back to the same thing over and over again. And you want so much more for somebody that you care about. And when you profess your love for people, and here's the thing, other people won't say shit to him. They'll be like, hey, man, you look like shit. Are you doing okay? Fuck that. You have a fucking problem, and I want you to be better. This is not the way to live. And whether that's the wrong thing to do or not, I don't know, but that's been my way of dealing with it. So it's like I've tried to distance myself from him.
So
and I don't know what's right.
Yeah. So I want you to think about this. When you greet somebody, do you say, "Hey, how are you?"
How are you? Mostly, yeah, man, what's good? What's going on? Something like that, probably. Yeah.
So, how are you has become a greeting, right? But what you're literally asking the person is, how are you doing? Right? But in a day and age where how are you holds no weight and value, when people ask people just on average, like, how are you doing? They don't mean it. And this is subconsciously processed, right? And we all understand that it's like, no, this is really all surface shit. And if you actually told me how shitty you were doing, I would not care. Or I would tell you, yo, I didn't ask for all that. It's like, yeah, you did.
There's a fucking comedian. I can't think. It might have been Tom Segura or something like that, where he's like, there are two acceptable answers to how are you? Good and fine.
Yeah.
Everything else, because he tells a joke about how he asked somebody and the dude just started unloading. And he's like, that is not what I was looking for. That's really fucking funny you said that. But yeah, I would say, hey man, what's going on? How are you? Yeah, I probably do say that to the majority of people.
Okay. So now just within that phrase, right? You can extrapolate that out to a lot of other things, right? But colloquially, we use things inappropriately according to the definition all the time.
Literally.
Literally. Right? And
I
so
love
it's
that
like,
one. That's my favorite.
oh, dude, I'm guilty.
I do
of
that shit all the time. I'm literally going to die. No, you're not.
Yeah. And so like when I break a lot of this shit down for my own self, it's like language is a technology and we misuse it constantly. And I go back to the hammer, right? It's like you can build the house with the hammer. You could beat somebody's head in with it.
You should make fucking shirts. Did you come up with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. You need shirts because you've said so many things that I cannot wait to go back and listen to this. You were literally a wall of inspirational quotes, and if not inspirational, just something to just ponder.
Yeah.
Which I love pondering. That is such a brilliant. You can build a house with it, or you can beat somebody to death with it. You could talk about that for 3 hours.
For sure.
An incredible fucking little saying there that you've created, and I love that one. Oh man. So your facilities. Tell me about, and again, I realize that this could be a long-winded answer. Just give me a quick where people can find you. If I'm struggling or somebody's struggling with something, what makes what you offer different? You touched on it a little bit, but what makes your offering better?
Yeah. Our philosophy of care says that there's nobody that's treatment resistant. And in addition to that, chronic relapsers, in our opinion, have been misdiagnosed. So simply, if you have been labeled treatment resistant, do not let yourself inherit social shame or guilt around whatever that label means. This is a clinical term that doesn't mean fucking shit. And then for chronic relapsers, this go watch my lives with Dr. Shah, and we really break this down. There's probably 20 hours of lives around this specifically, but you are probably misdiagnosed around the mental illness side. And that's just kind of like a very basic place to start with that. But what makes us different is that every addiction professional proclaims to be in the business of saving lives when they are really in the business of saving lives that can afford it. And Harmony Grove has found a way to bridge the reality with the claim. And that's really what sets us apart.
I love the name. Did you come
Harmony
up with that?
Grove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's always, I feel like there's always a tree reference in there somewhere. Is that done by design?
So Harmony Grove, there's a long story around this too, but like Harmony Grove was a community. It was a spiritual retreat community in Escondido, California. And we would go there and like smoke weed and like talk to these like witches and spiritual people would come from all over the world. And like, we would just go and talk to these people. And they were always like these crazy, kooky hippies, Satanists, like, and we would just go there and smoked weed and talk to crazy people. So that,
sounds like a fucking fun day.
Yeah. So there's that connection to it. But then in addition, there was like a brainstorming between me and my brother, who's my business partner, and a friend of ours. And we just went down a road of like, what about this? Well, what about this? Well, what about this? And somebody said Harmony Grove, and it was like a light bulb went off, and we all started talking about Harmony Grove and like the memories and all this stuff. But yeah, it was kind of an inspirational moment when that light bulb went off. We're like, oh,
Love
for
it.
sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love when that one hits you and it's just like, yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So I'd love to, help you out with getting your message out. Okay.
Sure.
I know actually quite a few people in Houston, believe it or not. I'd like
Really?
to, yeah, I do. And I'd like to
Okay.
get your info to them just so they know. And if they know anyone that needs anything, that they have someone that they can connect with, someone they can talk with. I believe in you, right? And I know what you're doing is the right way to go about it. I don't think anyone should be denied treatment or denied access to something because of money or just the inability, just whatever it is. Everyone should be given a fair shot. And that's not a big ask. Everyone should be given a fair shot. I feel that you give people that fair shot based on how you kind of talk about things. But, if anyone's listening to this and I hope people are listening to it, but anyone listening to this struggling with addiction or seeing a little bit of your background in them, is there any just piece of advice, a small sentence or two, anything that you would say to them to just give them something?
Yeah. Don't give up. Right. Like, the only time you lose is when you give up. Right. And everybody is capable of recovering. Everybody. It doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter what you haven't done. Everybody is fundamentally capable of recovering from what seems to be a hopeless state of mind and body.
Excellent. Do me a favor. Tell, whether it's your socials, websites, where people can find you,
Sure.
where they can look you up, and where to just maybe get some more information even.
Yeah. So mylastrelapse.com. Everything is on there. All my socials. Instagram is matthew.handy.17. And YouTube is youtube.com/my last relapse.
And we will tag all those in the summary of this episode as well. Put all that out there for you. If you know algorithms, you know how much that can help. It's always good to get those out there. And,
sure.
and like I said, when we get the clips out, we'll share all this information, man. Anything else you want to add? Because I can tell you from my heart, man, it's been an absolute blast having you on and sharing your story with us and talk about the work that you're doing. And it's greatly appreciated. You're doing really, really good work. And I wish you nothing but, continued success.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. Honored for being asked to come on. And anytime that you want to have a conversation or if you're ever in Houston, come on the show.
Yeah, dude. Gladly. Please. If that's an invite, I'm there, man. Absolutely.
Definitely an invite.
All right, cool. Well, listen, man, it's been good having you on. Thank you again so much. And everybody, we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Bye.